Chapter 1534. Search. This giant vortex sucked in the fog that was unique to Wang Lin and became a fog vortex. This battle was a huge blow to the Outer Realm. This caused the frenzied Outer Realm cultivators to feel sober. The Outer Realm had suffered too much in this battle. The cultivators of over a dozen tribes all died. There were no survivors from the ones that entered the Inner Realm. The Fire Sparrow clan ancestor had died, esteemed Nanjiao had died, and even the Lord of Heaven Punishment Palace had perished. More than 100,000 cultivators were buried in the Inner Realm. The entire ancient star system was permeated in sorrow. This sorrow was intense, and it slowly turned into anger for vengeance. Influenced by this anger, even more Outer Realm clans requested for the war to continue. As the call for war increased, the Sovereign Council gave the order to prepare for the second battle. The entire Outer Realm began to prepare. They were waiting for the second battle to get revenge. Some old monsters that had been in closed-door cultivator for tens of thousands of years, like the ones Tao Master Blue Dream had talked about, came out of closed-door cultivation. They stared at the Inner Realm with killing intent. The name Lord of the Sealed Realm Wang Lin had been firmly remembered by the Outer Realm. They clenched their teeth in hatred. It was Wang Lin who had killed the Fire Sparrow clan ancestor, killed esteemed Nanjiao, killed Grandmaster Yunluo's avatar, and destroyed the island she was on, resulting in her whereabouts being unknown. It was this person who had released the poison ocean and mosquito beasts that became a nightmare for the Outer Realm cultivators. It was this person who had killed countless Outer Realm cultivators that destroyed the confidence of the Outer Realm. He was the Lord of the Sealed Realm. He had to die. Wang Lin's appearance was distributed by the Sovereign Council and was now known by all Outer Realm cultivators. They had also set an unprecedented reward just to kill him. The Cloud Sea cultivators had suffered heavy casualties in this battle. With only thousands remaining, the entire Cloud Sea was now almost abandoned due to this battle. The large amount deaths caused most of the sects in the Cloud Sea to become empty. The ones remaining were the weak cultivators. The thousands of surviving Cloud Sea cultivators took the burden of educating future cultivators. They gathered the various sects from before to form the future 10 sects of the Cloud Sea. Fortunately, the God sect, Demon sect, and Ghost sect hadn't revealed too much of their power. But they could barely maintain the current situation in the Cloud Sea. Due to the large amount of collapse caused by this battle, the entire Cloud Sea became unstable. Spatial rifts had appeared everywhere, so it was very dangerous to fly through the Cloud Sea. The Demon sect had sent out nearly 70% of their cultivators to be stationed at the location of the first battle. Without the realm sealing formation, it was now the gate into the Inner Realm, even though the area was filled with spatial storms. The Ghost sect also had sent a large amount of cultivators to be stationed here. As for the God sect, under Mu Bingmei's leadership, they set up powerful formations and formed a blockade for the second battle that would soon occur. The summoned rivered cultivators left a part of their group here outside the fog vortex, with the beautiful middle-aged woman as the leader, and settled down. The Alheaven cultivators had also left a part of their group. The remainder returned home to prepare for the second battle. The brilliant void star system that never appeared in this battle sent 10,000 cultivators after the battle ended. They were led by a woman wearing a water blue dress and settled down outside the fog vortex. This woman was very beautiful but also extremely cold. The coldness in her eyes caused all the cultivators around the vortex to feel like they were facing an iceberg. In the first battle, the Outer Realm's Grandmaster Yunluo shocked Master Hongshan and the others. It was because of Grandmaster Yunluo that the Inner Realm army was extremely passive during the battle. They couldn't even set a formation down. Grandmaster Yunluo's ability to deploy troops and divinate left a deep impression on Grandmaster Hongshan and the others. If the Lord of the Sealed Realm hadn't killed her avatar, then even when the Summoned River and Alheaven reinforcements came, they would have suffered heavy casualties. Very few large wars occurred inside the Inner Realm. As tens of thousands of years passed, they slowly lost the experience in these types of battles. This battle was a lesson. But at the same time, it allowed Master Hongshan and company to understand that even if one has higher cultivation level, an army without a leader was just a handful of sand. The woman with the water blue dress was brought here by Master South Cloud from the Brilliant Void star system. She was not only the leader of the Brilliant Void cultivators, but also the commander-in-chief of all the Inner Realm cultivators here. After this battle, The name Lord of the Sealed Realm Wang Lin had completely spread across the inner realm. Almost all the inner realm territories knew of the merits of the Lord of the Sealed Realm in this battle. Killing the Fire Sparrow Clan's third-step ancestor, killing Outer Realm third-step cultivator esteemed Nanzhao, killing Outer Realm Commander-in-Chief Grandmaster Yun Luo. With his axe, he had stopped the third invading army from the Outer Realm, and caused tens of thousands of Outer Realm cultivators to not dare to take half a step into the Inner Realm. With the power of one person, he had stopped the Outer Realm cultivators from fleeing the Inner Realm. These various stories gave the Inner Realm cultivators a sense of confidence and feverish reverence. They remembered the name Wang Lin. They remembered the title Lord of the Sealed Realm. Wang Lin's prestige increased like crazy in the Inner Realm and suppressed that of Master Hong Shan and company. He became the spiritual leader of the Inner Realm. In the end of the battle, the Lord of the Sealed Realm Wang Lin released his nether beast and eradicated the last of the invading force. The fog vortex was something he had brought out. Anyone who didn't believe this would become silent when they arrived at the Cloud Sea and saw the fog vortex. Then a sense of frenzy would slowly appear deep inside their hearts. Almost all the cultivators stationed outside the fog would silently watch the vortex that shocked their hearts and minds. After a long time, they would respectfully bow and then leave. If there were still some that did not believe, their words couldn't be heard by the cultivators of the Cloud Sea, especially those thousands of cultivators that survived the battle. Each of them were absolute fanatics when it came to Wang Lin. They wouldn't allow any disrespect toward him. To them, Lord of the Sealed Realm Wang Lin was their glory. Even if a good friend from the other star system said something disrespectful, they would immediately turn on that friend. Wang Lin's name became a legend in the Inner Realm. However, this legend had disappeared without a trace. No one knew if he was alive or dead. Master Hong Shan and the others worked together to cast a spell to find Wang Lin, but they found nothing. The nether beast that had turned into a seed seemed to have experienced something strange, and no one could find it, however. The Cloud Sea cultivators believed that the Lord of the Sealed Realm was still alive. Master Lu Fu believed that the Lord of the Sealed Realm was still alive. Alheaven Shi Zifeng and planet Lingdong Shi Qing believed that their teacher was still alive. Shenggong Hu and Zhan Konglai also believed this. Esteemed Lingdong and Zhou Jin's slave marks had faded, and the large amount of poisonous mosquito beasts in the Cloud Sea star system made many people believe that the Lord of the Sealed Realm was still alive. Mu Bingmei, who had become the God sect master due to one line from Wang Lin, had tears in her eyes, but she firmly believed Wang Lin was still alive. In sorrow, Situnan gave up cultivating in the Rain Celestial Realm and silently went drinking. He drank too much and laughed as he looked up at the sky. However, as he laughed, tears flowed down uncontrollably. He drank for 3 days, he laughed for 3 days, and he cried for 3 days. Later, he resolved to leave the Rain Celestial Realm. He was going to find his brother. When he left, Zhou Ru was filled with tears. Through her determined request, she left with Situnan Big Head, and Lei Ji left 2 days after Situnan left. They were going to search for their master. The first one to leave the Rain Celestial Realm was not Situnan but 13. When he heard about the situation, he left without any hesitation with Wang Lin's statue. Many people were looking for Lord of the Sealed Realm Wang Lin, but no matter how much they looked, they couldn't find a single clue. Where are you? Situnan and Zhou Ru looked at the vast star system. Where are you in the Alheaven star system? Xi Zifeng, Shi Qing, and company silently looked at the starry sky. In the God sect, after settling some trivial matter, the very tired Mu Bingmei drank a bowl of medicine soup. She silently looked at the sky outside the pavilion and muttered to herself, "Where are you?" Outside the fog vortex in the Cloud Sea, the woman in the water blue dress looked at the fog vortex, and after a long time, she let out a sigh. "You don't know who I am, where are you?" 13 was silently flying through the stars. He had a determined expression as he searched endlessly, relying on his faint connection and the aura from the statue. The mosquito beasts were also looking for Wang Lin. There were many of them, and with the poison ocean fused into them, they had obtained a powerful toxin. They didn't attack any cultivators, but the horde howled as they searched. Their sad hiss was like a young child that had just lost their parents. Any cultivator who saw this group of mosquitoes would stop and bow toward them. In the brilliant Void star system, or the Alliance star system, There was a chaotic area filled with shattered rocks in the far northern area. At this moment, there was a piece of gravel the size of a fist floating there. This piece of gravel was covered in holes that connected to the interior. The nether beast that had turned into a seed was hiding here. It was terrified by the destructive storm and had lost its wits. With its personality, it was prepared to hide here until it died. The outside world was too terrifying. Too terrifying. The last 2 days of the month are upon us. Wishing for the like button for the VIDEO. Right now, it's about doubling the likes for the VIDEO. Very grateful and will return the favor. Chapter 153. A show of strength at Nandu. These cultivators were all at the mid-stage of core formation. They normally only focused on cultivation. Whether it was the 3 ruling sects or the fighting evil sect, they would all be courteous to these people. If it wasn't for the appearance of the killing order, these people would not appear. A man with a ruddy complexion but evil expression looked at Wang Lin. His pupils shrank as he slowly said, "We must act soon. If this continues, it will definitely attract nascent soul cultivators. Even though there aren't any nascent soul cultivators within million kilometers of Nandu, what about beyond that? Once a nascent soul cultivator arrives, we will have no chance of succeeding." An old man who saw Wang Lin easily kill a core formation cultivator slowly said, "This person is only at the early stage core formation, but why is he so powerful? Seeing how the old devil Xianxia is even willing to become his disciple, even if we were to act, we probably wouldn't be able to get anything out of it. There is also that flying sword. I have never seen a flying sword that could teleport before. That sword must be at least a nascent soul level treasure, or even a soul formation level treasure. It has already killed 100 people. Didn't you see the 10 bodies that were originally being dragged behind that fiend? Those were elders of the fighting evil sect. He can kill core formation cultivators as easily as he can kill bugs. If you guys are still filled with greed, that is your problem. I am not getting into this mess. Goodbye." One of the cultivators looked at Wang Lin, his eyes filled with dread. After he finished speaking, he took out a boat and quickly left. The remaining cultivators silently pondered until one of them suddenly said, "The messenger from the inner sea is going to arrive soon. I am willing to kill this person to save my 100 years worth of savings. Once I get that cultivation pill, I'll be able to reach the late stage of core formation and be able to protect my savings." An old man filled with wrinkles took a deep breath and slowly said, "Same for me. My life is going to end if I can increase my cultivation level in the next 10 years this time. No matter what, I have to try." With that, his body moved like lightning toward where Wang Lin was, and the other cultivators followed. The remaining cultivators remained silent but carefully watched the two. They had decided that if the two showed even a small chance of winning, they would all act. But if they didn't stand a chance at all, they would all leave in order to not make this person their enemy. Wang Lin pushed aside the already dead core formation cultivator and held the golden core in his hand. He looked at the scattered cultivators and sneered in his heart. He slapped the dragon tendon and said, "Come out. For today you can devour as much as you wish." The devil that had been inside the dragon tendon couldn't stand the allure of all the delicious food before him. However, he didn't dare to come out without Wang Lin's order, but after hearing Wang Lin's words, he let out a laugh and jumped out of the dragon tendon. Revealing his true form, he quickly jumped onto an escaping core formation cultivator. That cultivator's body twitched a little before finally withering and becoming a skeleton. A red mist came out from his head and he laughed. "That felt good. I can finally eat now, so I'm going to eat my fill." Wang Lin took one look at the devil and then turned his attention to Li Muwan. Li Muwan's face was pale as she stared at the devil while biting her lower lip. She didn't know what it was, but she was terrified the moment the devil appeared. Wang Lin withdrew his gaze and coldly stared at the devil. The devil quickly went away and thought, "Who wants to be next to you? The farther away you are, the better. Best if I never see you again. The world is big, how comfortable it would be to be free." But even he himself knew that was simply asking for too much. The devil mumbled to himself as he chased after the cultivators. Just as he revealed an evil smile and was just about to devour a cultivator, a golden light pierced through the cultivator's chest. He cursed out loud. Just as he was about to jump on another cultivator, there was another flash of golden light. After the devil left, Li Muwan's heart gradually calmed down. She hesitated a little before turning to Wang Lin and asking, He is? Wang Lin's eyes lit up. There were no other cultivators within 100 meters of him. All of the dead cultivators were wrapped up by the dragon tendon and flew behind him like a cape. This battle caused Wang Lin's name to spread across the entire area of Nandu. There were at least 1,000 bodies spread out behind him, covering the sky. The red punish above his head have turned from a great temptation to the sign of a powerful cultivator. "That is a devil," Wang Lin calmly said, as he stared at the two rays of light coming toward him from over 1,000 kilometers away. He closed his eyes for a bit before turning around and leaving. "Xianxia, Munan, Mi Bei, have the three of you seen enough?" The cold voice rang inside the 3's heads. Xianxia's body shivered as he focused himself once more and flew toward the two cultivators heading this way. His heart was in complete chaos right now. Although he knew that this fiend was strong, he didn't think that he would be this strong. The death spell is really terrifying. If I don't die this time, then no matter what, I have to try cultivating it. If I have this power, I can walk sideways in the outer part of the Sea of Devils. Xianxia took a deep breath and no longer felt bad about handing over his soul blood essence. No matter where they were, the strong will be respected. This was especially true for the Sea of Devils. Munan and Mubei's attitudes became the same as Xianxia's. With the power this fiend possessed, the fighting evil sect stood no chance. If they wished to live, then they would have to follow the powerful fiend. The two of them looked at each other before clenching their teeth, and quickly followed Xianxia. Xianxia looked at one of the people and laughed. "Haha, if it isn't old man Ouyang. We haven't seen each other for a long time, so let us get intimate for a bit." He immediately touched the sword behind his back. The black sword flew out and charged toward the old man. As for the Mu brothers, although they were both early-stage core formation cultivators, they were used to fighting together. They were fighting at a disadvantage, but were still able to hold out for a bit. Wang Lin's gaze swept across the core formation cultivators 1,000 kilometers away, and his eyes became cold. The surviving cultivators had already escaped into the distance. They all wished they could grow an extra pair of legs to run away faster. Wang Lin's figure was now engraved in their hearts and will never disappear. Among the 4 remaining mid-stage core formation cultivators watching from 1,000 kilometers away, the old man with a ruddy complexion shook his head. He turned around and was about to leave before this pupil suddenly shrank. A male and a female stood 10 feet behind him. Floating above the male's head was a blood-red punish symbol. The remaining cultivators noticed what was wrong, and all took out their treasures as if they were facing a great enemy, but none of them dared to act first. Wang Lin scanned the 4 of them and coldly said, "Scram!" Among the 4, only the old man who was ready to leave revealed a look of gratitude and quickly left. The remaining 3's faces turned from red to white as they slowly backed up. One of them snorted and said, "Today is matter." Li Muwan secretly sighed and thought, "Why aren't you quickly leaving? What is the point in saying these useless things?" Sure enough, before he finished speaking, Wang Lin frowned and waved his hand. His G-realm flew out and the cultivator's eyes immediately became blood red. He held his head before it exploded with a bang and a blood-covered golden core flew out into Wang Lin's hand. The remaining 2 cultivators turned around and ran without a word. Wang Lin stared at the 2. He left an imprint on them with his G-realm. At this moment, the cultivator fighting Xianxia let out a miserable scream and quickly ran off. As he escaped, the devil in crystal sword suddenly appeared before him. The devil growled, "Stop stealing from me. This one is mine. Mine." However, he was still a step too late. After a flash of golden light, a large hole appeared in the cultivator's chest. After half an hour, the cultivator fighting the Mu brothers died under the sneak attack of Xianxia. Wang Lin put the crystal sword away inside his body again, and the devil unwillingly returned to the dragon tendon. "Continue to lead the way." Wang Lin's voice was very cold and his killing intent was oppressing. Wang Lin knew that if he wanted to have a footing here, he must show off his power, and the fighting evil sect was the best place to do so. At this moment, Mu Nan and Mu Bei deeply respected Wang Lin from the bottom of their hearts. Especially Mu Bei, who showed unreserved respect in his eyes as he quickly led the way to the fighting evil sect. Before Wang Lin, the large amount of bodies emitted a deathly aura. This display was more effective than any words. Many cultivators who had evil intentions who saw the thousands of bodies immediately became pale and backed away, afraid of getting caught in this mess. The end of the month is here. Wishing for the like button for the video. Brothers, do you still have likes for the video? Chapter 1535. Madman. There was a sky and stars in the strange world inside the nether beast, but there was no life. To be more accurate, very few lives. Before Wang Lin, there was only one other person. It was that poor cultivator that was scared by the nether beast twice and thought the world inside the nether beast was the real world outside. There was a semi-collapsed cultivation planet inside the nether beast. This planet was no longer round, there was no vegetation on it, and it was completely silent. A cultivator with broken clothes filled with facial hair crouched there and stared at a body on the ground. Strange. Is this person not dead? A few days ago before I left he wasn't this large, and after leaving for a few days he grew quite a bit. From the looks of this, it will take a few years to be completely grown well. It seems to have something to do with my blood. The dullied cultivator touched his chin as he walked around the corpse several times and kicked it a bit. Damn it, you dare to pretend to be dead before this king? The cultivator glared and kicked the body. Seeing no response, he immediately went for a few more kicks. Finally, he giggled and jumped on the body. After jumping on it for an hour, he felt satisfied and lied down on the ground, staring at the sky in a daze. He had been searching this place for countless years, but he hadn't seen a second person. He still remembered that an unknown number of years ago, he was also lying here, looking at the sky in a daze. He had been begging the heavens to give him a fellow cultivator to play with. He thought of this almost every day, but this time was different. Just as he thought of this, his eyes widened and there was a flash of light in the starry sky. He saw something fall from the sky and land on the other side of this planet. He was startled for 4 or 5 days before he reacted. He then rushed toward the other side of the planet in joy. He had found this broken body there and brought it back here. Finally, someone to accompany me, although it's a dead man. How can a dead body be growing again? Oh, maybe. Who knows? I say today is going to rain, little red. Go bring the rain shelter jade. Eh? I ate it last time I got drunk. You say then go ask the Lee family for another. Damn it. If they want tea, give it. Tell them this king will ask my big brother to steal it tomorrow. That might be the case. Maybe there isn't enough silver to use. What if there is not enough, little Gui? Go find my big brother and tell him to give me some. If he doesn't give any, tell him that tomorrow this king will let, I'll go steal it myself. The cultivator didn't even know what he was muttering. This phenomenon started when he was trapped in the 7-colored realm. If it wasn't for this random muttering, he would have really gone crazy. After muttering for a long time, he let out a big breath and he looked at the corpse. His expression suddenly changed and became fierce. You dare to scare this king? Let's see how this king will deal with you, he roared. As he roared, he jumped into the air and his hands formed seals, creating a large amount of spells that launched at the body. The earth rumbled for a long time, and before the rumbling stopped, this madman cultivator used even more spells. The bombardment continued for several consecutive days. If a third-step cultivator saw the spells this madman was using, they would terrified. Little Pink, take my move. The madman raised his right. The world rumbled and then a giant palm print appeared. However, the palm print seemed to be lacking power and immediately collapsed when it touched the body. However, the palm was filled with power and majesty. This was the most authentic war spirit print. It was like the war spirit print the Lord of the Sealed Realm left at the God sect, but the one used by this madman was even more authentic. Little Silver, watch how this king hits you, the madman roared. Then he pointed at the sky. The entire sky suddenly turned into the eye canopy and a giant pillar that supported the sky appeared. It was a giant umbrella. Realm-burning umbrella. Burn for this king. The madman waved his right hand and the umbrella shrank until he could hold it in his right hand. He poked the body on the ground with it, but although the umbrella was powerful, it was in fact powerless. The moment it touched the corpse, it immediately dissipated. Old man Li Guang, take told man this arrow. The madman smiled and raised his hands as if he was holding a bow. There was no bow in his hands, but an arrow suddenly appeared and shot toward Wang Lin. 7-colored little girl, your husband has been forced away by my big brother. I say you better follow this king. You see, I can use a 7-colored spell as well. The madman raised his right hand and there was a flash of 7-colored light. The 7-colored light turned into a spell wheel that flew forward. Time slowly passed. The madman continued to chatter and use large amounts of spells that had never appeared in the inner or outer realms. It wasn't tea until a few days later that the madman slowly stopped. He was gasping for breath on the side and revealed a look of satisfaction. Not bad, not bad. This King's spells have become even stronger, not bad. Now it's time to practice my strength. He stood up and walked up to the corpse. There was a bow in the corpse's hand. The bow was being held tightly by the corpse, but its string was broken. It was attached to the bow on one end, and the other was fused with the flesh of the corpse. The madman rubbed his hands and grabbed the bow. His face turned red as he tired to drag the bow away. His body jumped, and he continued to roar. Damn it, this damn person from the ancient nation holding the Li Guang bow. Even when dead, he is still so strong. What did I just say? Ancient nation? Li Guang's bow. The madman was startled for a moment and loosened his hand. He then thought for a long time. He looked at the corpse and shook his head, saying, Ancient nation, that feels very familiar. I feel a lot of hatred after a long time. He still couldn't think of anything. He scratched his head and let out a sigh as he looked down at the body before him. He then bit his finger on his right hand and placed it in the mouth of the corpse. Drink it, drink more so you can quickly regrow your body so you can play with me. He had not just been feeding this body for 1 or 2 days. Ever since he found the body, whenever he remembered, he would feed the body some of his blood. This King's blood is very precious. That little girl from the Li family begged me for many years before I gave her a drop. And there was also who was it? Little Red, who was it? Oh, it was that Sectes Saintess who was kidnapped by that person. If not for the fact that I thought she was pitiful, this king wouldn't have given it to her. 1 drop of this King's blood is more precious than the Tao sage. Alas, there is no food to eat. Little Red, go to the Chimu family to get me some fruit. That fruit their family grows that only grows once every 100,000 years. The dream fruit. Bring it to me. If they don't give it, tell them that this king will get my big brother to steal it for me tomorrow. As the madman muttered to himself, he didn't notice that the corpse that was rapidly recovering suddenly slowed down after absorbing his blood. Not only did the recovery stop, but it reversed, making the injury even worse. There was a power that was rejecting this blood like crazy, as if they couldn't exist together. However, during this rejection, there was a hint of fusion. This corpse was Wang Lin. The blood from the madman couldn't merge with the ancient order power inside him at all. The two devoured each other like crazy, as if they were in a life and death struggle. This mutual destruction caused Wang Lin's body to go through a strange change. This change seemed to be changing his bloodline, a change from a mortal to a true celestial. The Li Guangbo hadn't recognized another owner since its owner's death, and not even old Ghost Zhan thought anyone would be recognized as its owner. As this change took place within Wang Lin, a heaven-shaking change was happening with the Li Guangbao as well. If old Ghost Zhan saw this personally, even he would be filled with disbelief. The broken bow string that had grown into Wang Lin's body was slowly fusing with Wang Lin's new bloodline. The power of Wang Lin's bloodline was slowly permeating the entire bow. The bow gave off faint cheers of excitement that only Wang Lin could hear. This was a cry of joy for finding another master after its first master had died countless years ago. The bow felt that Wang Lin's changing bloodline was 100 times more pure than its previous master, like the difference between water and wine. The madman stared at the sky in a daze and continued to mutter to himself. It's raining, Little Red, come and rub your master's shoulders. Go tell my big brother that this kid is tired and I'm not going to cultivate. I am going out to play, tell him to not come find me. Once I play enough, I'll go back. If he dares to find me like in the past, I'll cut all relations with him. The end of the month, wishing for the like button for the video, don't hold back, it's expiring. Chapter 1536, all of you wait, this king will rest first. Every time Wang Lin's ancient god power reached the critical moment of healing, it was blocked by the blood from this madman. This made Wang Lin's injury worse, and his body was like the raging sea. This intense pain was enough to make one mad. If Wang Lin wasn't unconscious, it wouldn't be too bad, but Wang Lin had regained consciousness a long time ago. However, when he awakened, his body was filled with the blood of this madman. This blood was filled with an extremely pure power. Wang Lin had never seen this kind of power in his life. Only the no celestial spell that he saw when he sat on the throne in ancient order tomb could match it in power. However, this power couldn't be used by Wang Lin. It was hidden inside Wang Lin's blood and flowed through his body. As it fought with the ancient god power, it slowly fused with Wang Lin's bones and blood. The bones were the source of creating blood. The blood from the madman continued to enter Wang Lin's bone marrow and change his bloodline. One's bloodline was in the bone marrow. To change the bone marrow was to change one's bloodline. If successful, the blood that will flow through Wang Lin would be like the madman's, noble and pure. Wang Lin could feel an indescribable feeling from this sense of nobility. It was enough to shake one's mind. Wang Lin was shocked to find that as the blood flowed into his body, his origin soul trembled as if this blood was some unimaginably noble existence. An existence that was at the peak of cultivators. As time passed and this pure blood flowed through Wang Lin's body, his body would undergo a metamorphosis like a mortal becoming celestial. The sobered Wang Lin was terrified by this blood, but he also saw all the spells the madman had used on him. It was as if millions of bolts of thunder had exploded in his mind and he couldn't recover for a long time. The madman's muttering caused monstrous waves to surge in Wang Lin's mind. However, Wang Lin couldn't ponder about this in detail due to the intense pain in his body. The pain he felt now was several times stronger than when he faced the ancient order trial. He couldn't move his body, not even open his eyes. His origin soul was being locked in place by the blood, so he wasn't able to move at all. Fortunately, during this intense pain, there were cheers coming from the bow. This cheer gave off a sense of warmth that eased Wang Lin's pain. He had a very strange feeling, as if the bow in his hand had fused with him and became part of his blood. He also saw that the bow that had never recognized an owner didn't recognize him but his slowly changing bloodline. It was as if only with this bloodline would it recognize someone as its owner. This king's blood is very, 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 very. I remember there being a little witch named Fei Fei who borrowed something from me, the madman muttered to himself as he sat beside Wang Lin. Confusion filling his eyes. After a long time, he shook his head and took his finger out of Wang Lin's mouth. He then put it into his own mouth, and after licking it, he revealed an intoxicated expression. Even this king enjoys this king's blood, however. I can carelessly give it away. My big brother said that just one drop of this blood what can it do? Little Red, where the hell did you go? This king has been here for so many years, and you still haven't come to find this king. Just you wait. Once this king comes home, this king will eat you. As the madman muttered to himself, he seemed to become angry. He got up and walked around Wang Lin several times before he finally stopped. There seemed to be anger inside him. When he saw how Wang Lin was still not recovering and had returned to the state of when he found him, he became even more angry. How come it's so difficult to grow a body? Is it difficult? If this king was in your state, I would have already recovered. How many years has it been? Why must you be so stupid? The madman got more and more angry as he spoke. After kicking for a bit, his face became even more angry, and he began jumping on Wang Lin's body. He continued to jump and shout like a crazy person. My big brother said that my family's blood can heal all injuries in the world. This king has given you so much, but your body still hasn't recovered. You. The madman jumped to the side and stared at Wang Lin. His mouth never stopped talking. This king just refuses to believe this one work. Just you wait. The madman muttered as he raised his right hand and hit his chest. The moment he hit his chest, a strange mark appeared on it. The madman's body trembled, and his face became red. He then coughed out a mouthful of blood that landed on Wang Lin's body. This king has plenty of blood. Quickly recover your body to play with this king. That mouthful of blood couldn't compare to the trickle of blood from his finger. It was like the difference between a stream and a mighty river. This blood was golden and filled with a pure energy. When it landed on Wang Lin's body, Wang Lin trembled. All the pores on his body opened to quickly absorb this blood. In just an instant, all the blood was absorbed clean. The large amount of blood entered his body and turned into a storm. It began a slaughter with Wang Lin's ancient god power, and some of it directly fused with his bone marrow, beginning his metamorphosis. After spitting out a mouthful of blood, the madman's face turned pale and he gasped for breath. He stared at Wang Lin, but the anger in his eyes became even stronger. Still no effect? You You wait for this king to take a break. Just you wait. The madman sat down while filled with anger. He didn't sit down to cultivate, but just sat there. Then he suddenly got up and stood before Wang Lin. Damn it. If this king doesn't give out my blood voluntarily, even if someone drains all my blood, it will be no use. I refuse to believe you can regrow your body. The madman roared, and his right hand hit his chest once more. This time he hit himself 3 times. One mouthful of blood flew out. Then the madman's face turned pale and he retreated 2 steps. Then he coughed out the second mouthful of blood, and following that came the third mouthful of blood. The 3 mouthfuls of blood turned into a rain of blood that fell on Wang Lin. Damn your. The madman's eyes were red-eye, and even if his big brother was here, he wouldn't be able to stop him. He let out a roar, bit the tip of his tongue, and spat a blood arrow at Wang Lin. This blood was his life essence, which was many times more precious than his ordinary blood. Then his eyes rolled over and he fell down, passing out due to the excessive loss of blood. Before he passed out, he was still muttering to himself. This king's blood is very precious this time. I seem to have overdone it so dizzy. Little Red, come and massage this lord. Wang Lin's body was covered in blood. This blood seemed to be alive. When it landed on him, it drilled into his body through his pores. The large amount of blood, especially the life essence blood, caused an indescribable pressure to erupt inside Wang Lin's body. Wang Lin's ancient order power collapsed and was suppressed, but they didn't fuse on a large scale. Nevertheless, because the ancient order power was suppressed, the blood that had been poured into his body directly entered his bones and fused with his bone marrow. This fusion didn't only take place in small areas like before, it instantly fused together. Wang Lin's body trembled and a large amount of red dots appeared all over his body. Large amounts of his own blood was being moved. As the blood fused with his bone marrow, new blood was created. Just as the new blood was born, a noble aura erupted from Wang Lin's body. This noble aura was like something that belonged to the ruler of the world. Even the world itself had to bow before it. The 9-colored fire in his left eye burned brightly and could vaguely be seen through his eyelids. However, as it burned, the noble aura from his bone marrow caused the 9-colored fire to collapse into countless flames, but they all soon fused back together. A golden fire suddenly appeared. This golden fire contained the Tao of the heavens, but it wasn't Tao fire. With the appearance of the golden fire, the thunder in Wang Lin's right eye rumbled. The aura from the blood caused the thunder to collapse, and the 9 accompanying thunders also collapsed. The moment the thunder and accompanying thunders all collapsed, a bolt of golden thunder appeared in Wang Lin's closed right eye. Gold. Everything was gold. However, this gold wasn't very deep, it was very light. However, it was still enough to terrify anyone who knew the secret of this gold color. Gold, the color of celestials, real celestials. Golden fire had appeared in his left eye, and golden thunder flashed in his right eye. If Wang Lin were to open his eyes, all the cultivators who saw his eyes would be shocked. They would feel an indescribable pressure erupting from Wang Lin's eyes. A grand chapter. Not caring to read 4,500 words, can bear to split it into 2 chapters. As the donkey dies a martyr, tears flow wishing for the like button for the video. Chapter 1537. Immortal Celestial Clan Body. Although Wang Lin's thunder essence had reached completion, it was still incomplete. However, with the power of his new blood, the imperfection disappeared and his thunder suddenly became celestial thunder. Real celestial thunder. The golden fire in his left eye was only at the ethereal state and was far away from becoming Tao fire. However, as the power from his new blood rushed in, the fire suddenly evolved to an ethereal fire beyond any other fire. Real celestial fire. Just the celestial fire and celestial thunder were enough for Wang Lin to kill any early-stage Nirvana Void cultivator. Even mid-stage Nirvana Void cultivators wouldn't last for too long before they would also die. Even late-stage Nirvana Void cultivators would be shaken by this celestial fire and thunder and would choose to retreat. As the new blood created by the bone marrow flowed through Wang Lin's body, the remaining 3 essences, life and death, karma, and true and false, began to slowly reach perfection. They only needed the opportunity to reach the grand Tao. The appearance of the madman was like a great fortune comparable to the inheritance he had obtained at the land of the ancient god. It was enough to change his life. This great fortune was still not over yet. Wang Lin's mind was clear, but he still couldn't move at all. He silently felt the changes in his body. This completely different feeling made him speculate a few things. The new blood that was created from his bone marrow gave off an extremely powerful aura. It was celestial spiritual energy. As the blood flowed through his body, his origin soul was rapidly changing. What Wang Lin didn't know was that in the 4 celestial realms, even the 4 celestial emperors like Qing Lin would be mere mortals compared to him. The bloodline inside Wang Lin had reached a heaven-shaking level. However, his body was extremely special, something that had never been seen before. His body was that of the ancient god, an inheritance from the ancient order. However, his bloodline had been changed by that madman to become the bloodline of a celestial. This kind of thing was simply too rare. The two completely opposite forces continued to bombard each other. Although the ancient order power was suppressed, the celestial blood couldn't destroy it. As a result, Wang Lin's body was incomplete. During this incomplete process, his lower body was rapidly recovering and being destroyed. His origin soul was also sober but imprisoned. If this continued, Wang Lin would be a living dead person, or he would be refined into a heavenly treasure. This treasure would be something both the ancient order and the celestials could use. At this time, he had to make a choice. He had to choose between the previous ancient order heritage and give up the shocking fortune, or this new fortune and give up the ancient order inheritance that had accompanied him for most of his life. It was a very difficult choice. Even if Wang Lin wanted to choose, he couldn't. His origin soul was unable to move, as it had separated from his body to some degree. Damn it, I am tired to death at this moment. The madman who had passed out due to excessive blood loss woke up. Although he looked tired, he excitedly looked at Wang Lin. After taking a look, the excitement on the madman's face faded and was replaced with endless anger. Damn you! You still haven't recovered! This old man's blood, this blood can be traded for so many things. So much blood, all that blood I gave you is enough to get that 7-colored chick. If my big brother knew, he would go crazy. The madman sprang up and grabbed Wang Lin's should. He began shaking Wang Lin like crazy. Return my blood. You took this king's blood but still haven't recovered. You trying to anger me. Little you, take this guy out and chop his head off. The madman roared, still feeling angry. He stared at Wang Lin and directly bit Wang Lin's shoulder. He then let out a growl like a mad dog. This king is going to bite you to death. Bite you to death. After messing around for a while, the madman was breathing hard. His eyes were red, and his expression became fierce. He stared at Wang Lin and loosened his bite. Then he covered his mouth and let out painful groans. I hate the ancient nation cultivators, their bodies are too hard. This king's teeth are killing me. Little Red, go to the Zhou family to fetch that something. This king forgot. Quickly, go. If they want tea, give it. Tell them I'll get my big brother to steal it tomorrow. The madman walked to the side while muttering and letting out painful groans. He then turned to stare at Wang Lin and gradually showed signs of going crazy again. I just refuse to believe this. You wait, let me think. The madman's blood-red eyes flashed, and after thinking for a while, he still couldn't think of anything. Feeling even more irritated, he roared at Wang Lin. Ordinary people couldn't understand the anger of a madman. The longer he couldn't think of what to do, the more angry he became. Finally, he raised his right hand, grabbed his left arm, and tore it off his body. There was no blood, and the wound was extremely smooth. While holding his left arm, he didn't even look at it. He stared at Wang Lin and said some words even he himself couldn't understand. He waved his right hand and the left arm he had ripped off landed, giving off a thunderous rumble. His right hand moved faster and faster, and the rumble became even more intense. In the end, the madman jumped up and began to curse Wang Lin. This cursing lasted for several days. Only when the madman's mouth was dry did he get tired and stop. He put his left arm back on his body and there was a flash of gold. A round rune appeared on the wound. It gave off an ancient aura and looked very complicated. Just looking at it would make one lose themselves. This rune gave off the aura of the origin of the world. It was strange and mysterious. Looking at the rune on the wound on his left arm, The madman was startled for a moment. Soon, a bright light appeared in his eyes. "That's it! Ha-ha! That's it!" The madman licked his lips and rubbed his hands. He ran excitedly to Wang Lin's side. In his view, this corpse was his toy. He had to find some fun to ease the boredom. However, a person that goes crazy from playing around would be extremely terrifying. How could this king forget the three princes of the celestial ancestors? Haha, the three princes of the celestial ancestors. Yes, that's it. The madman felt like his blood was boiling. He looked at Wang Lin while giggling. However, there was a flash of confusion in his eyes. Something seems wrong. It seems that my big brother said that even if I die, I can give the three princes of the celestial ancestor to anyone not of my celestial clan. He even forced me to swear on it. I can give small amounts of blood to people, but the three princes of the celestial ancestors can be given to others. The madman began to hesitate and look down on Wang Lin. That doesn't seem right. Maybe Big Brother said that the three princes of the celestial ancestors can be given to anyone. Which is it? The madman frowned and raised his right hand to knock on his own head. The more he knocked, the more confused he became. This king has to listen to my Big Brother's words. The image can be given to others. That's right. It can be given like this. The madman solemnly nodded. That's right. Even Little Red said that my memory is very good and can be wrong. The madman became excited again after muttering to himself. He licked his lips and then quickly formed a few seals. The entire cultivation planet trembled, and the madman's body also trembled violently. The round rune that had appeared on the wound on his left arm gradually appeared between his eyebrows. The heavens and earth open, the ancestors descend. The three princes form immortality for all generations. First prince summons the heavens. Second prince summons the Tao. Third prince summons, what does it summon? Little Red, what does the third prince summon? The madman froze and shook his head. For God damn it, this king's memory is too good. I will definitely remember. He muttered as his right hand hit the area between his eyebrows. An aura rushed out. Then an indescribably powerful force rushed out and filled the world inside the nether beast. With a roar, the madman's right hand reached out and seemed to dig out the mark between his own eyebrows. He then pressed it down between Wang Lin's ancient god stars. Three princes of the celestial ancestor, power of the celestial clan's immortal body. At the moment the madman's right hand fell on Wang Lin, an unimaginable power erupted from Wang Lin's body. His body shot toward his head and collided with the madman's right hand. Thunderous rumbles echoed. The madman coughed out a mouthful of blood and was thrown into the distance. When he landed, he felt confused and muttered, "I seem to remember it can be taught in particular, not to the three members of the ancient order clan, as it would cause a lot of trouble. Hey, why is this king worried? This king didn't teach anything. This king's memory is very good, and I definitely didn't teach thinking about this." His eyes rolled over and he fainted. Wang Lin's body shook and his eyelids trembled rapidly. His mind roared. He clearly felt the madman's movement. Just as the madman pressed his hand down, Wang Lin felt the ancient order power he had suppressed erupt as if it had gone crazy. "You madman!" Wang Lin suddenly opened his eyes. Big brothers and little sisters, do you still have likes for the video? Wishing for the like button for the video to help. Chapter 1538, Golden Sky, Black Earth. The moment Wang Lin opened his eyes, a round mark appeared between his eyebrows. This mark was almost exactly the same as the one the madman had. The appearance of this mark immediately made the new blood in his body surge, as if it was boiling. Originally, the power from the blood and the ancient order power had reached an equilibrium. Although the blood held the advantage, it couldn't destroy the ancient order power. However, the appearance of this mark set off the beacon of war. This caused Wang Lin's bloodline power to suddenly surge and try to destroy his ancient order power. As a result, the ancient order power that had been suppressed erupted in a berserk counterattack. And Wang Lin's body became a battlefield of life and death. The power of the bloodline was an outsider that had just fused with Wang Lin, unlike the ancient order power that had accompanied him almost all his life. The fierce battle between the two had reached a terrifying degree. One of the stars between Wang Lin's eyebrows collapsed, and a surge of ancient order power entered his body, and his body quickly recovered. However, just as his body recovered, the mark between his eyebrows suddenly released a powerful force, causing Wang Lin's body to collapse. This collapse was a complete collapse. His arms, legs, whole body, including his head and original soul, all collapsed. However, before his flesh and blood scattered far, an extremely pure celestial spiritual energy rapidly condensed into a blurry figure. This blurry figure was an origin soul. However, this wasn't the origin soul of a cultivator, but that of a true celestial, a celestial origin. After the celestial origin appeared, all the scattered flesh and blood immediately gathered to form a body. This body was crystal smooth and gave off endless celestial spiritual energy. It also gave off a powerful aura. However, the moment this body appeared, it trembled and collapsed again along with another star between Wang Lin's eyebrows. The celestial body collapsed, and as the blood and flesh splattered, a powerful surge of ancient order energy appeared. The flesh and blood quickly gathered, and a 10,000-foot ancient god suddenly appeared. However, before the ancient god body appeared for long, it collapsed once more. Wang Lin suffered unimaginable pain. His ancient order power was on the weaker side, so it had to rely on shattering his stars. He no longer had a choice. The ancient god power inside him was going to turn into a storm that would destroy everything. He felt like when that time came, he would without a doubt die. He had to maintain balance and make them fuse, otherwise this fortune would become a life or death calamity. The 7-star collapse and the 7th celestial conversion happened. Now all 7 stars had shattered, and all of this had happened in an instant. Every shattered star caused the ancient order power inside his body to increase greatly. After 7 stars broke, the ancient order power inside Wang Lin was heaven-shaking. Just at this moment, the 8th cycle began. What Wang Lin shattered was the vortex that hadn't formed into a star yet. A thunderous rumble echoed, and his body quickly changed between ancient order and celestial for the 8th time. After the 8th time, Wang Lin would face the fact that he had no stars left to shatter. His ancient god body suddenly exploded, and as his flesh and blood splattered, the celestial spiritual energy appeared once more to form the celestial body that had collapsed several times. Immortal celestial body. This immortal body came from the celestial ancestor body. It was because of the mark that Wang Lin had this immortal body. The mark between his eyebrows flashed, and the celestial spiritual energy inside his body became even more intense. His bone marrow created even more blood that circulated through his body. It seemed like the celestial body was going to completely suppress his ancient god body. However, all of this was far from over. If Wang Lin was only an ancient god before he got the ancient order inheritance, then, at the last moment, he would lose his ancient god inheritance, become a real celestial, and then die from his body exploding. However, this ancient god inheritance was that of a royal ancient god. And it was also the ancient order inheritance. The mark not only changed his bloodline, but also triggered the ancient order inheritance in his body. Just like what the madman had said, this mark couldn't be given to outsiders, and definitely couldn't be given to the 3 clans from the ancient nation. A roar came from Wang Lin's mouth and countless cracks appeared on his celestial body. At the same time, the ancient order power inside him surged. Although there was no star left to shatter, this surge seemed to have caused Wang Lin's second trial to arrive early. The second trial arriving early was completely due to the will of the ancient order power inside Wang Lin, when it was faced the possibility of being driven out. There were 2 vague wills inside Wang Lin's body, one ancient order and one celestial. The collision of these 2 wills was the cause of all of Wang Lin's fortune and danger. The early arrival of the second trial caused countless cracks to appear on the celestial body. Then the body exploded. The power of the explosion collided with the power of the second trial. The 2 powers frantically destroyed each other, wanting to wipe each other out. At this moment, it was as if everything, including Wang Lin's origin soul, was going to be destroyed. Heaven shaking. Wang Lin's whole body began to disintegrate. His ancient god flesh and blood entered the planet, causing the ground to tremble. Waves of invisible ripples spread. These ripples caused all the mountains to collapse, making the entire continent as flat as a mirror. His celestial body collapsed and shot into the sky with his broken origin soul. The sky seemed to separate from the world inside the nether beast, and after it replaced everything, the sky was golden. The heavens and earth had changed. Golden sky and black earth. This was like something out of a myth, but it appeared right now. The madman had awakened and was lying there, watching all of this. He rubbed his eyes and muttered, "Has this king's eyes gone bad? Golden sky and black earth. Isn't this the first sign of the celestial ancestor descending that my big brother talked about?" Just at this moment, a heaven-shattering roar came from the earth. The entire earth trembled as if a power was erupting outward. The madman saw a giant black shadow come out of the ground. It was like a mountain, and it shot toward the sky. The giant shadow was as tall as the heavens itself. It was an ancient god. It looked exactly like Wang Lin. His 7 stars were rotating rapidly, and he waved his giant fist toward the sky. At this moment, the golden light made the sky look like a golden ocean, and a golden figure walked out of it. This golden figure was filled with celestial spiritual energy and gave off a majestic aura. He coldly stared at the ancient god rushing up and waved his sleeves, setting off endless golden ripples. From afar, it looked as if the person in the sky was wearing a very large golden cloak, but this cloak was the entire sky. This person also looked like Wang Lin. The round mark emitted endless golden light, and with a wave of his hand he charged at the ancient god. The 2 Wang Lins closed in an instant as if they were going to fight to the death. They got close and closer. In a flash, the 2 Wang Lin collided. Just as they were about to collide like 2 mountains crashing into each other, a ghostly light flickered between them. This ghostly light was a bead that was only the size of a baby's fist. The heaven-defying bead appeared once more. The madman that was lying there suddenly opened his eyes and stared at this bead. He muttered, "It seems very, very important, as if even my big brother is looking for this object. I forgot, what is it? Little Red. What is that?" A thunderous bang echoed. The power of the golden sky and black earth collided with the heaven-defying bead. The heaven-defying bead slowly rotated. After one rotation, the golden sky was instantly absorbed by the heaven-defying bead. Then a golden body suddenly appeared outside the heaven-defying bead. The heaven-defying bead rotated again. On the second rotation, the ancient god was absorbed just like the golden sky. The ancient god power permeated the golden celestial origin and formed the body of an ancient god. However, this ancient god body gave off a faint golden glow. He was Wang Lin. Time seemed to stop at this moment. After an unknown amount of time, Wang Lin's eyes suddenly opened. His left eye contained a golden dog and his right eye had a bolt of golden thunder. The round mark between his eyebrows had disappeared, and the 7 ancient god stars were rotating in his place. But those 7 stars were now golden. Golden stars. The moment he opened his eyes, his body trembled, and he coughed out a mouthful of blood. He viciously stared at the madman that was in a daze before he took a step and fell to the ground. He then closed his eyes and began to cultivate. The madman trembled and pretended he didn't see anything. He continued to whistle and look at the other direction. However, he was observing Wang Lin's reaction from the corner of his eye. Just in time to keep the manuscript, tonight's update might not be timely. If there's no second watch tonight, Leo will supplement tomorrow. However, Leo will try his best to finish today. Chapter 1539. Ancient Nation S3 Clans. The madman continued to observe Wang Lin's reaction. He scratched his head and carefully walked close. He rubbed his hand and revealed a mischievous smile. "Let us talk. What is your name? Tell this king and this king will reward you." Wang Lin responded with silence and continued to cultivate with his eyes closed. "You want to speak? You dare to not speak?" When Little Red was caught by me, he also didn't speak, and I pulled out all his hair. Can you guess what happened? The madman chattered, then he walked even closer. He sat across from Wang Lin and began chatting. "You can guess. This king gave Little Red ha 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 hey." The madman began laughing like crazy while holding his stomach. After laughing for a long time, he viciously stared at Wang Lin. "Why didn't you laugh? Was the king not funny? When this king speaks, even the Li family has to laugh. If you don't dare to laugh, then I'll find my big brother. It seems as if I haven't told you what I did to Little Red. Why don't you ask me what I did to Little Red? Humph. Even if you don't ask, this king will still tell you. Back then, I forgot." The madman frowned and knocked his head. His eyes were filled with confusion. Damn it. Why did I forget again? Once the madman began to chatter. It was almost endless, and he spoke for a few days non-stop, becoming more and more excited as time went on. His only regret was that Wang Lin was only listening and didn't cooperate by answering. However, having a living creature to speak to was already very satisfying. He spoke endlessly like a mosquito, and the sound lingered for a long time. Wang Lin didn't hear a single word. His body was in a chaotic state. His ancient god body was outside and his celestial origin was inside, acting as his origin soul. Even deeper, the heaven-defying bead was slowly rotating. Going by mortal time, it would take 12 hours for the heaven-defying bead to rotate once. The origin energy inside his body had collapsed and disappeared without a trace. What replaced it was the dense celestial spiritual energy that came from the new blood made by his bone marrow. This celestial spiritual energy was far stronger than his origin energy, even though there was far less of it than his origin energy. If his original origin energy was like a mighty river, then his celestial spiritual energy was like a stream. Although this was the case, this small amount of celestial spiritual energy shook Wang Lin's mind. He could feel a terrifying aura coming from this celestial spiritual energy. Due to the collapse of the 7 stars, the second trial had started early. However, before the power of the second trial could erupt, it was absorbed by the heaven-defying bead. Right now, his physical strength was several times stronger than before. Every beat of his heart seemed to create an invisible wave that could shake the surrounding area. A feeling of power erupted inside Wang Lin's body. He was confident that not even late-stage Nirvana Void cultivators would be able to escape from him. Perhaps a peak Nirvana Void cultivator would have the power to battle him. Right now, he was a fusion of celestial and ancient order, an extremely rare mutation among the vast stars. Wang Lin didn't know if this change was good or bad, but right now he felt intense pain in his body. Although his body and celestial origin were in a state of fusion, the rejection between them still existed. Even the heaven-defying bead couldn't seem to stop and change this rejection. I could force Wang Lin's celestial origin and his ancient god body to fuse, but it couldn't dissipate the root of this intense pain. If this rejection force couldn't be resolved, then Wang Lin would be unable to display his full power. Every time he wanted to use his celestial spiritual energy, it would cause intense pain and be stopped by his ancient god body. He would only be able to display 20% of his power. However, just this 20% was enough for him to instantly kill a late-stage Nirvana Void cultivator. Wang Lin wasn't sure how powerful his full power would be, but he was certain that people like esteemed Nan Zhao wouldn't be his match at all. Similarly, his physical power would be stopped by his celestial origin inside his body. If this was all, it wouldn't matter, but what Wang Lin was worried about was that the rejection force was getting stronger and stronger. Once it reached a limit and erupted, his body and celestial origin would collapse. Even his soul and his everything would be destroyed. This rejection force was like a knife of death hanging above his head, and it could fall any moment. Wang Lin quickly thought of everything as he sat there. He thought of everything he could to get rid of this rejection force, but in the end, he couldn't think of anything. Although the celestial ancestor mark looked like it had collapsed, only Wang Lin knew that it wasn't gone. Instead, it had fused with his 7 ancient god stars, causing golden stars to appear. This had never appeared in the ancient order before. Several days later, as the madman spoke excitedly, Wang Lin slowly opened his eyes. 2 rays of golden light erupted from Wang Lin's eyes and landed in the eyes of the madman. The man suddenly stopped speaking when the 2 rays of golden light stared at his eyes. He looked confused and scratched his head. He then looked at Wang Lin and carelessly said, "Hey, why do you have my clan's golden eyes? But it is only light gold. That's not enough. Look at this king's." As the madman spoke, he took a deep breath and his cheeks bulged out. Even his body began to swell, as if an airflow was going into his body. As he swelled up, his dim eyes became sharp and 2 rays of golden light erupted from his eyes. Under this golden light, this madman seemed to become a different person. He was filled with a shocking sense of majesty. How is it? This king is fierce." The moment the madman spoke, that sense of majesty disappeared. "Just you wait, this king can be even more fierce." The madman inhaled and revealed a smug face. His body inflated and crackling sounds echoed. His thin body rapidly grew and became filled with flesh and blood. At the same time, that sense of majesty appeared once more. However, just at this moment, there was thunderous hiss, and a stream of air was ejected from the madman's buttocks. His body was like a deflating balloon. The golden light in his eyes disappeared, and he was no longer as fierce as before. The madman felt embarrassed and scratched his head. His face turned slightly red and he shook his head. Accident. This was an accident. Wang Lin looked at the madman with a complicated gaze. The madman became even more embarrassed under Wang Lin's gaze. He held his buttocks and retreated a few steps. Accident? I already said it was an accident. Why are you looking at me like that? Strange. This king rarely releases gas. Does someone miss me? The madman rubbed his buttocks with his right hand and subconsciously sniffed his right hand. Wang Lin let out a sigh. This madman had given him a great fortune, but it had also nearly killed him. In truth, if not for the celestial ancestor print, Wang Lin's body wouldn't be in such a sorry state. Although the rejection force would still be there, it would not be as fierce as it was now. Forget it. What's the point of trying to argue with this madman? Wang Lin shook his head. What he was most worried about was this rejection force. While pondering, his right hand reached out at the void, and a spatial rift to his storage space opened. A surge of devilish energy erupted. The ancient devil he had obtained in the ancient tomb appeared before him. This ancient devil's body was already petrified, but when Wang Lin obtained the ancient order inheritance, it was changed back into flesh. The 6 devil stars were rotating in its right eye, but right now this body had no soul, so it was still a corpse. Wang Lin stared at the 6-star ancient devil. He originally planned to condense an ancient devil soul for his ancient devil body, but facing the danger of the rejection force in his body, he changed his mind. His eyes lit up and he pointed forward. The ancient devil trembled violently, and as it trembled, its large body shrank rapidly. All of its flesh, blood, and devilish energy all gathered toward the stars in its right eye. In a flash, the ancient devil's body disappeared and gathered inside the 6 ancient devil stars. Wang Lin grabbed them and they flew toward Wang Lin's right eye. In an instant, the 6 ancient devil stars entered Wang Lin's right eye and were imprinted below the golden thunder. The moment the ancient devil stars entered his body, Wang Lin took a deep breath. His hand formed to seal, his body trembled. The 7 golden ancient god stars between his eyebrows flashed. The rays of golden light seemed to enter his right eye, then they rapidly fused with the 6 ancient devil stars. The madman retreated not far away and stared at this scene. He stared at this while rubbing his eyes and muttering, to use the ancient god as the body and ancient devil as the avatar. This is the 3 clans of the ancient nation. The 3 clans of the ancient nation. The Ji country has the demon as their root. The Shi country has the devil as their root. Strange. He is clearly a member of my celestial clan, and he has the immortal body that only me and my big brother have. How can a cultivator from the ancient nation have it? Strange, so strange. Him Mappa, who has the guts to give a cultivator of the ancient nation our immortal celestial body? If my big brother knew of this, he would be extremely angry. This can go on. This king must find out which bastard dares to be so bold. The madman became serious. Reading so much. Besides, the golden keyboard is active. I ask everyone to support a bit more, not just words of support. I'm afraid I can't even carry the last 3. Chapter 1540, Spell. Time slowly passed. In the blink of an eye, 3 days went by. During these 3 days, Wang Lin continued to move the rejection force into the 6 ancient devil stars to help withstand the rejection force. The 6 ancient devil stars gradually became golden and were hidden under the golden thunder, making them very difficult for outsiders to see them. This slowly suppressed the intense rejection force in his body and caused the speed of its growth to slow down a bit. However, this method would only delay the danger and not resolve the problem at the root. This rejection force was like a shadow that hovered over Wang Lin's mind. Wang Lin opened his eyes. His expression was very gloomy. He didn't even look at the madman but looked at the sky. I remember that after I obtained the Li Guang Bo, the nether beast appeared and spat out the golden storm. I sent out a message for the nether beast to devour me, so right now I should be inside world within the nether beast. If I wanted to leave, it would be very easy. While he was pondering, the madman saw that Wang Lin had woken up. He suddenly began to point at Wang Lin and shout, "Tell me who taught you the immortal celestial body. This king wants to see which bastard dared to do this." The madman was filled with anger. Wang Lin was startled for a moment and looked at the madman. As he looked, he carefully recalled everything he had seen. He was certain that this person was indeed a madman, and a madman with very poor memory. This person had great origin. He called himself king, and his words were shocking. Who the hell was he? Seeing Wang Lin's gaze, his expression became excited. He seemed to forget why he was so angry and revealed a mischievous smile. Ah, little girl, smile for this king. This king will give you a reward. I will definitely give you a reward. Wang Lin frowned, and his expression became indifferent. Ignoring this madman, he waved his hand and a bow appeared. However, the string on it had broken, making the bow unusable. Looking at the bow with a complicated gaze, Wang Lin let out a sigh and began to ponder. What method can I use to deal with the issue of this rejection force? After seeing Wang Lin ignoring him, the madman let out a cold snort and muttered, "If you re not going to smile, then don T smile. This king 1T reward you. This king's blood is very precious. I am not going to give you a single drop, not a single drop." Although he was saying this, he rolled his eyes and revealed a proud smile. He smiled at Wang Lin and said, forget it, this king is generous. Since you re-shy, you can smile later. So, little girl, tell this king your name, this king will reward you. You 1T even say your name. You going to anger me to death. You should at least tell me your family name. You are still not going to say it. Good, this king likes stubborn little girls like you. The more you act like this, the more excited this king will be. The madman laughed and began to speak again. As he spoke, he began to walk around Wang Lin. Wang Lin gradually grew irritated from listening. He looked up at the madman and said, "Noisy." The madman was startled, and his eyes widened. He stared at Wang Lin and roared, "No one dares to speak to this king like this. You got a big." There was a flash of coldness in Wang Lin's eyes, and he waved his right. A gust of golden wind that even the planets shook appeared. The madman let out a miserable scream and was blown far away. There was finally some peace and quiet. Wang Lin lowered his arm and began to ponder once more. However, Wang Lin had underestimated the determination of the madman. He didn't think for long before a roar came from the distance, and the madman quickly ran back. He was very fast and arrived before Wang Lin in a flash. He let out a roar and was about to speak. "Do." Wang Lin waved his hand, and the storm appeared again. The madman let out a miserable and was blown away again. Once, twice, 3 times, until 7 or 8 times. The madman would always quickly rush back and roar as if he wanted to finish that sentence. However, he never had the opportunity and would be swept away every time he came back. That miserable scream was extremely clear on this abandoned planet. It wasn't until the 15th time that the coldness in Wang Lin's eyes became even stronger. He faintly heard a hint of cheerfulness in the madman's miserable scream after the madman came back. Wang Lin didn't wave his hand but waited for him to finish speaking. So exciting! The madman was filled with excitement. After he roared at Wang Lin, he immediately closed his eyes. He looked intoxicated, as if he was waiting for something. After a moment, there was a hint of doubt on his face, and he opened his eyes to look at Wang Lin. Wang Lin also looked at him, and the coldness in Wang Lin's eyes became even stronger. "Fly, fly, fly!" The madman blinked and jumped a few times before he stretched his arms out to fly. Seeing how Wang Lin wasn't reacting, he became annoyed and looked at Wang Lin. After jumping a few more times, he angrily said, "This king is playing happily, you better continue right now." Wang Lin felt like he was going to collapse. He clenched his teeth but didn't wave his sleeve. Instead, he stood up and directly kicked the madman in the buttocks. He used 70% of the physical power he could use without causing the rejection force to appear. This force was enough to fight a mid-stage Nirvana Void cultivator. A powerful wind swept by and Wang Lin's kick landed on the madman. The madman let out a excited, miserable scream as his body was kicked into the air. He stretched open his arms, and his body flew off into the distance, drawing an arc. A moment later, the madman ran back for the 17th time. His excitement had reached a limit. He didn't speak but roared at Wang Lin, and then immediately turned around. He lifted his buttocks, closed his eyes, and opened his arms. Wang Lin clenched his fist, and after taking a deep breath, he calmed down. "Do you like roars? Good." Wang Lin raised his hand and reached at the void. A rift to his storage space appeared, and he pulled out a large black ape. This black ape was the one Wang Lin had found on a continent in the Cloud Sea. It was weak but liked to roar. When the black ape appeared, it let out a roar. Its powerful arms hit its chest, creating drum-like sounds. The madman was startled and turned to look at the black ape. He had a look of excitement when he arrived before the black ape and roared. He also learned from the ape and hit his chest. The black ape's eyes were filled with doubt as it stared at the person before him. It felt like this person was provoking it. Although this person gave off a terrifying aura, thanks to Wang Lin's will, that fear dissipated and was replaced by anger, so it began to roar in anger. Just like this, the person and ape faced each other and roared at each other. Both wanted to suppress the other. The roars became even more intense. Wang Lin let out a sigh of relief and no longer bothered with the madman. He closed his eyes and pondered a solution to deal with the rejection force. He gradually thought of some ideas. The most difficult of my 5 essences are life and death, karma, and true and false. If these 3 essences can be completed, I will be able to control this rejection force. I could use the life and death essence to split the rejection force into life and death. Then I could use the karma essence to form a world and allow the rejection life and death force to form a cycle. Finally, I could use the true and false essence to deceive the rejection force like the Tao of deception, so that the celestial and ancient order powers would completely fuse into one. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he carefully thought about this, and determination filled his eyes. If all of that happens, the completion of the 5 essences would allow my 5 fingers to be complete, then I could open the void gate to become a real 3rd-step cultivator. How strong will I be then? Wang Lin clenched his fist. Life and death, karma and true and false, how could I cause these 3 essences to reach completion? From my analysis from before, I was lacking something that could increase my chances. Tao fruit, I need a few more Tao fruit. The more the better. While pondering, the roars gradually got lower and lower. The black ape seemed to not be able to keep up the continuous roaring, and its voice had gotten hoarse. It looked at the madman with fear in its eyes. It retreated a few steps. The black ape didn't dare to roar anymore and looked pleadingly at Wang Lin. The madman became even more proud, even though he was also tried, and his voice was also hoarse. The excitement on his face became even more intense, and he hit his chest with a big smile. This king has been roaring at my big brother ever since I was growing up. Little Red is always after of my roars. Everyone on the celestial immortal continent knows that my voice is the loudest and the most beautiful. You little monkey, you dare to roar against this king? Come, after we finish competing with roars, we can compete spells. See how pretty this king's spells are. The madman grasped with his right hand and raised into the sky. Then a flash of light appeared in the sky. A giant palm appeared in the sky, giving off a powerful pressure. The palm print was clearly visible, and it descended from the sky. War Spirit Print! Wang Lin's eyes lit up and his expression changed. He remembered now that when he couldn't move, the madman had used various spells on him, and each of them were extremely authentic. Staring the descending War Spirit Print, Wang Lin was moved. This was the other great fortune this madman had given him after the celestial bloodline. Fans celebrating the new year, please join the VIDEEO fan battle team. If you need to complete a mission, Leo can praise everyone in the chapter narration. You are listening to a completely free audiobook on the Leo Audio YouTube channel. If you enjoy the story, please like the video to motivate the channel. Support Leo with a cup of coffee through the description link or on the screen. If you want to hear any other stories, just comment and let Leo know. Thank you very much for watching the video. Chapter 1541. A bit shameless. Wang Lin's eyes became serious as he stared at the giant palm in the sky. It seemed to appear out of thin air, and ripples spread out from it. Every single line on the palm was extremely clear. It looks like a real palm and not a fake one. This print was very similar to the War Spirit print Wang Lin knew, but there were some subtle differences. The War Spirit print he knew was a giant palm with no clear palm print. After appearing, it would absorb a large amount of origin energy, making it extremely large. It contained shocking power but was not easy to control. As the War Spirit print grew larger and absorbed more power, he would eventually lose control. Wang Lin knew that this was because he hadn't obtained the inheritance and had only learned it from watching. The real War Spirit print, used by Taoist water, didn't have that flaw. However, even the War Spirit print used by Taoist water didn't have a palm print as clear as the one used by this madman. There were also no strange ripples along its edges. These ripples looked like the most powerful technique from the Black Tortoise, the power of vibration. As Wang Lin observed, his expression became very serious. He watched the war spirit print directly fall on the ground, and the earth trembled. A shockwave caused the area to be surrounded in dust. Wang Lin was also inside the palm, and felt the palm land on him. He was pondering the changes in the inner workings of this palm. What a powerful war spirit print. The vibration shakes the heavens and earth as if it were enslaving the world. To enslave the origin energy of the world to form a palm, or to enslave the origin energy of the world to form a spirit. This spirit is then surrounded by celestial spiritual energy before it forms this print. There are still some details that aren't clear. I would need the inheritance to find the secret. Wang Lin licked his lips and his eyes lit up. After the dust settled, the madman laughed with a smug smile. How is it? Is this King's spell powerful? The madman seemed to be showing off before the black ape, but was in fact looking at Wang Lin with a proud smile. Wang Lin smiled. He looked at the madman, and his smile became even brighter. After the madman saw Wang Lin's smile, he became confused. He lowered his head and looked at his body before scratching his head. He didn't know why Wang Lin was smiling. Wang Lin calmly said, "This spell is okay, but I know this spell as well, and mine is more powerful than yours." The madman revealed disdain as he pointed at Wang Lin and bared his teeth. "This King's spell is the most powerful. Except for my big brother, no one is better than me. Hey, do you want to secretly learn from me? Let this king tell you, my big brother said I can teach anyone my spells. Even if you beat me to death, I won't teach you." Back then, who wanted to steal from me, but I saw through him. This king is very clever. You don't even want to cheat me. Without a word, Wang Lin raised his right hand up at the sky and pressed down. The sky rumbled, and a vague palm print appeared. As soon as it appeared, it began to frantically absorb origin energy. The palm print gradually became clearer and smashed down toward the ground. As the palm print descended, a powerful pressure descended and wind began to howl. The earth trembled, and a giant rift opened on the surface of the planet. The madman's messy hair and eyes were filled with dullness as he stared at the palm print. At the moment it was going to land, Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He took a deep breath and pointed forward. "Gather, gather, gather!" After saying gather 3 times, the palm print shrank rapidly, and as it shrank it showed signs of instability, as if it was going out of control. Finally, it landed on the planet. The whole planet shook, causing the madman to jump into the air. A giant palm print was clearly imprinted in the earth in the distance. It was tens of thousands of feet wide and looked like a giant sinkhole. "If you can create a sinkhole this big with this spell, then I'll admit your spell is good," Wang Lin said slowly, purposely revealing a hint of contempt. It was this hint of contempt that made the madman's eyes turn red. He continued to wave his arms and hit his chest like a drum as he roared. He had just learned this from the black ape, and felt that doing so was very domineering. "This king is the strongest, just you wait." The madman was filled with anger. He stepped forward and pointed up at the sky with his right hand. He roared and a giant palm print appeared, and with a wave of his hand, the palm print fell. The palm print landed on the ground, kicking up a large amount of dust and leaving a shallow imprint. The madman was startled for a moment. After looking at the shallow imprint and then at the sinkhole Wang Lin had made, madness appeared in his eyes. He let out an even more intense roar and began to bombard the ground. Wang Lin was completely focused on the side, his eyes flashing like crazy. He began deducing the spell. At this moment, he had forgotten about everything beside the madman using the war spirit print over and over again. There would never be another opportunity like this for someone to use the same spell before him over and over again. It was very unlikely even between teacher and student. After half an hour, the madman had used dozens of consecutive war spirit prints, causing the mark on the ground to be a bit deeper. However, it was far from being as deep as the sinkhole Wang Lin had created. The madman was running out of breath and felt very tired from using the spell. He thought about giving up when he secretly looked at Wang Lin and saw the scorn and ridicule on Wang Lin's face. This made him angry. Damn it, this king refuses to believe it. He let out a roar as if he had forgotten how tired he was and bombarded the ground with war spirit prints. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, every time he was about to give up, he would see the contempt on Wang Lin's face. He couldn't stand this look from Wang Lin. Wang Lin's eyes were filled with blood. He was carefully observing while his right hand was waving before his body. He was using his shocking comprehension to figure out this spell. After 6 hours, the madman had launched hundreds of war spirit prints. He was covered in sweat and his tongue was sticking out. It was as if he couldn't gasp fast enough. Damn it, too tired. This old man won play. If I can win, I can win, so what? This king is going to sleep, he muttered. Just as he was about to give up, he looked at Wang Lin. He was startled for a moment. He saw a hint of shock on Wang Lin's face. It was this hint of shock that made the madman that was about to give up excited. He let out a roar and his hands hit his chest. If Wang Lin still had that look of disdain, he would have chosen to ignore Wang Lin because he was too tired. However, the shock on Wang Lin's face gave him confidence. Ha! This little girl finally stopped underestimating me. Oomph. This king has to put more strength into it to show you how strong this king is. The madman became excited and began bombarding again. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he quickly began to comprehend the spell. As time passed, the palm print became more and more clear until it was engraved in his mind. This palm print became more and more profound. 7 hours, 8 hours, until 9 hours later, the red-eyed madman let out a roar and let out a final war spirit print. The earth rumbled, and after 9 hours the imprint was finally almost as deep as the one Wang Lin had made. After doing all of this, the madman started crawling on the ground with a tired expression, but he still looked at Wang Lin and shouted with a hoarse voice, "How is it? How is it? Isn't this king's spell the most powerful?" Wang Lin revealed a hint of shock and slowly said, "I'll have to personally examine it." "Go check it, this king will wait," the madman said with disdain, but he couldn't conceal the joy in his eyes. Wang Lin's shock made him feel content, as if all the exhaustion he felt was nothing. Wang Lin got up and made his way to the pit the madman had made. He began to carefully observe. Although the madman was resting, he was constantly staring at Wang Lin's expression. He wanted to see how shocked Wang Lin would get. However, the madman felt like something was wrong. Wang Lin's expression was originally filled with shock, but that shock gradually disappeared. A calmness replaced it, and the hint of contempt that he couldn't bear reappeared. After seeing the contempt on Wang Lin's face, the madman became angry. He stared at Wang Lin and roared, "I didn't expect you to be so sinister. Your spell clearly can compared to mine," and you secretly cheated. Wang Lin shook his head and the contempt on his face became even stronger. He turned around and sat down without even looking at the madman. The madman was frozen for a moment. His face turned completely red and he rushed to Wang Lin. "I didn't This king didn't he roared. Wang Lin's eyes widened and he coldly said, "The spell you've been using this whole time is not the same as the one from the start. Don't try to deceive me. You falsely accusing me this king used the same spell. I can be wrong. You go take a closer look. Take a closer look. This king didn't lie to you." The madman was getting anxious, and there was even a hint of water in his eyes. He felt very wronged, very, very wronged. He had toiled for several hours to reach this point, and then was unexpectedly called a liar. It's time to double the likes for the video. Wishing for more likes for the video. Chapter 1542. Shock! I have already seen through it. It's not the same. Wang Lin's words were firm as he coldly looked at the madman. There was a hint of regret shown within this contempt. It was this hint of regret that made the water inside the madman's eyes become even more intense, and in the end he actually cried. When he started crying, Wang Lin felt sorry in his heart. He felt like an uncle trying to cheat the toy out of a child's hand. "Forget it, Karma. Karma, I've met this person inside the nether beast. He gave me the celestial bloodline, and now I am obtaining his spells with this method. I'll have to repay him eventually. Cultivators rarely go crazy, so there must be a great story behind him. I, Wang Lin, remember my benefactors. I vow that in the future all his business will be mine as well." Wang Lin looked at the madman again, but now there was a hint of softness hidden in his gaze. This king didn't lie. This king used the same spell as before. This spell is called the War Spirit Print. My big brother stole it from the twin celestial sovereign, and then passed it to me. It seemed the madman hadn't washed his face in a long time. As his tears flowed down, 2 lines of black mud appeared on his face. He wiped his tears as he looked at Wang Lin with a gaze filled with grievance and roared. If you don't believe me, I'll tell you the secret chant. This king has never lied since I was little, because my big brother said he would hit me if I lied. The madman felt extremely wronged, and without thinking, he recited the chant for the war spirit print. See, this is the secret chant. You go cultivate it yourself and go see it yourself. Then you will see that I didn't lie to you. I clearly won through my hard work, but you won, believe me. I'm not going to play with you. The madman became angry again and walked to the side. He was still filled with grievance as he sat down and deliberately didn't look at Wang Lin. Wang Lin's heart pounded. He memorized the chant. He then secretly muttered in his mind, and the part he didn't understand suddenly became clear. He pointed at the sky and an authentic war spirit print appeared. Although it didn't descend, a powerful pressure spread out. As he looked at the war spirit print, Wang Lin's pupils shrank and excitement filled his heart. With his cultivation level, he could tell that this war spirit print was not just a spell but a Tao spell. An extremely powerful Tao spell that could destroy the heavens and earth. This spell could instantly multiply Wang Lin's strength through some mysterious method. Most importantly, there were 3 sources of power inside this palm. If all 3 were used, 3 palms would descend to kill the body, origin, soul, and soul at the same time. The one Taoist water used could only kill the body. The Tao spell I learned now is the real war spirit print. Wang Lin took a deep breath. After firmly memorizing the war spirit print, he looked at the madman. In his eyes, this lunatic was like a huge treasure chest that could burst at any moment. Okay, don't cry. I admit your spell is really powerful, and I was wrong to blame you. Wang Lin got up and apologized. There was a hint of softness in his gaze as he clasped his hands. The madman let out a snort and turned his face so he didn't look at Wang Lin. Wang Lin let out a wry smile and his right hand reached out as he pondered. He opened his storage space and took out some pills. He picked pills that had very strong fragrance the moment they were taken out. The madman's nose suddenly moved and subconsciously sniffed. He licked his lips but forced himself to not look. However, he kept glancing over. Oh, these pill counters. The worst pills this king fed Little Red were much better than these. Wang Lin revealed a smile that wasn't a smile as he held the pill and squeezed. It immediately broke and the fragrance quickly spread. The madman suppressed the impulse, but his belly rumbled. It had been a very, very, very long time since he had devoured any pills, and now he felt like it was a bit unbearable. I'll give these pills as compensation for blaming you, okay? Wang Lin's voice was gentle as he waved his hands. These several pills flew toward the madman and floated there. The madman swallowed hard. He turned around and stared at the pill. He said with disdain, this king wouldn't even look at them in the past. They read just trash. However, since you seem to be flattering me, this king will reluctantly take them. As he spoke, his right hand quickly reached out and grabbed the pills. His eyes lit up when he put them in his mouth. He crushed them in a few bites and quickly swallowed them. Wang Lin revealed a smile and clasped his hands. Your spell is indeed amazing, but is that the only one, I wonder? The madman was proud, but he suddenly looked at Wang Lin and became on guard. I remember someone saying that to me before. Who was it, Little Red? Who was it? Forget it, but this king remembers that person said those words to cheat me of my spells. Humph. This king is wise. How can I be fooled? Don't even try to cheat me out of my Tao spells. Even if I die, I won't tell you any secret chants or spells. The madman raised his head and let out a cold snort, giving off a feeling like he was high above. He shook his head and let out a sigh. Learning too many Tao spells is a very annoying thing. This king's talent is simply too high. Since you are so respectful, I'll show you, but there is no way I'll teach you. After the madman spoke, he stood up and stretched his arms. He proudly raised his right hand, and then the sky suddenly turned dark. Bright red light appeared and a huge umbrella suddenly appeared. This umbrella used the sky as the umbrella canopy, and the pole formed from the endless sea of fire. A destructive fire suddenly spread out in all directions, forming 9 umbrella-like fire seeds. These fire seeds gave off an extremely terrifying aura. Wang Lin's pupils shrank. He recognized that this spell was similar to the realm-burning umbrella he knew, but the difference was that he had to open the umbrella when he used his own spell. However, the umbrella was already open when the madman used it. It looked similar, but the difference was like heaven and earth. How is it? This king is strong. If the umbrella closes, the power is very strong. The madman waved his right hand, and the umbrella disappeared from the sky. Ooh. I just want to teach you. I'll let you see it, but you can learn it. Let this king show you more. The madman proudly raised his hand and formed a pose as if he was going to shoot a bow. If he had a bow in his hand, Wang Lin would recognize it looked almost exactly the same as the pose Li Guang had made. A shocking arrow energy came from the madman like crazy. It was as if the world would be torn apart by this arrow energy if he let go. This king knows a lot more. What does this count as? The madman's mood seemed to change, especially after seeing Wang Lin become so serious. He became smug once more and let out another roar. He loosened his hand and the shocking arrow energy dissipated. At the same time, his hands formed a seal and he waved his hand. The world trembled and the 7 colors of red, orange, yellow, green, indigo, blue, and purple appeared. These 7 lights quickly gathered to form a 7-colored lance. This lance was heaven shaking and occupied the entire sky. The sky rippled as if it was going to be shattered by the lance. Wang Lin felt his skin crawl, and cold sweat covered his body. The 7-colored light contained the power of emotions. When it appeared, it seemed to be able to affect the emotions of anyone who saw it. It was similar to ethereal fire, but Wang Lin felt that it was far stronger than ethereal fire. The madman laughed and loosened his hand. The sky returned to normal. His face was filled with exhilaration and smiles. How is it? How is it? Isn't this king strong? Do you want to learn? Do you want to? This king will tell you. There are too many people that want to learn my Tao spells. What has this king not seen? No one can deceive me. Even if you beat me to death, I want to teach you. Even if you want to learn, it is useless. This king can help it. A real pity, the madman shook his head and became even more proud. Let me guess how you will respond. I remember someone's answer was that they didn't want to learn and pretended to be indifferent to evoke this king's interest. The result was ha 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 ha. I'll let you guess the result. Ha 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 ha, I am going to laugh to death. The madman immediately began laughing and holding his stomach. If you answer yes, then this king will severely reject you. Little girl, this king is very strict. Even if you try to seduce me, it is useless. The madman began chattering again, and became more and more excited as he talked. Looking at the madman, Wang Lin slowly smiled. I remember that in the Nether Beast's memory, this person didn't know about the Nether Beast and was very afraid of it. Wang Lin's smile became even stronger. The madman felt like something bad was going to happen when he saw Wang Lin staring at him with a smile. He seemed to vaguely remember that it was after that smile that he spent hours using the war spirit print until he was breathless. Just at this moment, the cultivation planet trembled, and the sky darkened as if a storm was going to appear. A thunderous rumble echoed, and a huge phantom slowly appeared. The phantom was very large and looked like a whale. It had 2 long whiskers that danced in the wind. It was the Nether Beast. After hearing Wang Lin's call, a phantom of it appeared inside its own world. The moment it appeared, the pride on the madman's face suddenly collapsed. His pupils shrank, his body trembled violently, and he let out a miserable scream. You chased me to this place. Damn it to hell, you still want to let me go. I don't taste good, I really don't taste good, As usual, 2 chapters at noon, about 10 minutes apart, and 2 more at 8 in the evening, 10 minutes apart. If anything comes up, the other will be informed. Longing for the like button for the video. Chapter 1543. Take me as your disciple. The madman's scream caused the Nether Beast to become startled. It slowly recognized the madman as that person from before. After it recognized him, a roar came from the Nether Beast's soul phantom. Now that it was frightened, its body trembled, and its roar became even stronger. Its roar caused the madman to immediately turn pale and retreat in fear. If Wang Lin wasn't here, the Nether Beast would have fled without hesitation. However, at this moment, its other personality appeared. After a moment of fear, its dazed eyes slowly turned. Then its expression suddenly became fierce and it roared at the madman. Its large body appeared completely and charged at the madman. The madman let out another miserable scream and quickly retreated. However, the more he retreated, the more fierce the nether beast became. It was about to close in on the madman. The two large whiskers started to lash around, causing popping sounds to echo. The nether beast was very excited right now. It had always been frightened by the madman, while the madman had never seemed frightened before. This fun made even its soul feel cheerful. Its roar became even more intense as it closed in. Because it was too close, one of its waving whiskers hit the madman. The madman let out a scream and retreated even faster. Similarly, because its whiskers had touched him, the nether beast also trembled. It retreated a bit to maintain a certain distance before it began to let out fierce roars to frighten the madman. "Little Red, quickly, come and save me. Go and let it eat you, so it won't eat this king. This king is not tasty." "Ah." The madman trembled, feeling completely frightened. "Escort, escort. Which warrior will come and escort me?" the madman yelled as he quickly retreated. He fell on the ground and began crawling backward, looking miserable. This showed how frightened he was of the nether beast. Just as he was about to be overcome by despair, Wang Lin stepped forward and stood before the madman. At this moment, the madman felt like Wang Lin was extremely mighty. "You are the best. You are really good to me, even better than my big brother. Go stop this evil beast from eating this king. This king doesn't taste good." The madman was agitated. He didn't expect Wang Lin to appear before him at this critical moment. He was so moved, he had forgotten everything. In his eyes, Wang Lin had become the only one he could rely on. "This king will reward you. This king will give you little red. This king will give you little silver. This king will give you that little 7-colored girl. This king's back palace has 40,000 beauties. I'll give them all to you." Wang Lin didn't speak and raised his right hand. Wang Lin sent out a message, and the nether beast was startled. With its low intelligence, it didn't understand Wang Lin's intent, and began to ponder in a daze. However, as it was thinking, its body subconsciously rushed toward Wang Lin, wanting to rub Wang Lin with its big head. In the madman's eyes, the nether beast was charging straight at Wang Lin. A moment later, the nether beast touched Wang Lin's body. Wang Lin's expression changed and he coughed out blood. He grabbed the madman and quickly retreated. Wang Lin's retreat caused the nether beast to become startled. It was wondering why its master had retreated. It doesn't seem like it had collided with its master yet. However, Wang Lin sent out a message and it decided to listen. In its mind, master wanted to play a game with it. When it thought of this, it became excited, let out a roar, and started charging at Wang Lin. This caused the sky to change colors and its aura to become shocking. It's coming again. It's coming again. It's going to eat me. It won't let me go. The madman was being held by Wang Lin and continued to let out miserable screams. The apologetic gaze in Wang Lin's eyes became even stronger, but he hid it well. "Warrior, save me, warrior. Save me. I'll let my big brother give you the title of king. I'll make my big brother give you all his concubines. Warrior, save me." This beast is extremely powerful. Even I'm not its match. This beast likes to eat people, especially living ones. It will slowly chew the person and then digest them. If your body is fragile, it's not a bad thing, because you will instantly die. What's most terrifying are those with indestructible bodies. They will suffer from being chewed and digested for thousands of years until death. Wang Lin quickly retreated with the madman in hand. However, he never got too far from the nether beast and always kept a certain distance. It was close enough that the nether beast's whiskers were almost right in front of him. This short distance pressed the madman with a great deal of pressure and made him feel endless fear. "What should we do? What should we do? How about you let it eat you? Maybe it will be too full to eat me." The madman trembled and was about to cry. Tears began gather in his eyes. Wang Lin began to laugh in anger from his remark. Wang Lin stared at the madman and said, word for word, "Look at its giant body. Do you think it will be full from eating just one person?" The madman was startled for a moment and carefully looked at the nether beast chasing them. His face immediately turned pale and he shook his head. "Unfortunately, I only have cultivation but no spells to display my cultivation. If only I had those spells to drive the beast away." Wang Lin let out a sigh. "Yes, what should we do? What should we? I am going to die. I am going to be eaten." It's over. The madman trembled and his eyes filled with despair. I have been afraid of fierce beasts ever since I was little, especially fierce beasts this big. Just at this moment, the nether beast's whiskers unconsciously swept past the madman's face, causing him to scream miserably again. The madman's eyes suddenly lit up and he shouted, "I know spells, I know spells." Yes, this is it. This king is too clever. You can quickly learn them and then drive the beast away. He didn't hesitate to tell the chant for the realm-burning umbrella and everything about the spell to Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression remained unchanged, but his heartbeat quickly accelerated. He memorized it without missing a thing and continued to confirm it in his mind. The more he confirmed, the more serious he became. This chant was extremely accurate. It was the great Tao spell that not even the second Vermilion Bird's master could be taught and had to learn in secret. However, this Tao spell was not something that could be learned immediately. It would require many years of closed-door cultivation and comprehension to learn. Wang Lin's left hand formed a seal and millions of restrictions appeared. The stolen verison of the realm-burning umbrella appeared. The moment the realm-burning umbrella appeared, fear appeared in the nether beast's eyes. Its dull mind couldn't understand what was happening, and why its master would use a spell like this against it. The moment the umbrella appeared, it collapsed. Wang Lin quickly retreated with a madman in hand and said, "Still not enough." "Ah? Not enough? I have the Li Guang's heaven-shattering Bo Dao. I'll teach it to you. Just quickly drive the beast away." The madman was nervous and immediately told Wang Lin the chant for this Dao spell. After he finished speaking, he still seemed unsure. Just then, the nether beast's whiskers swept by again, and the madman quickly said, "I'll tell you the 7-color Dao spell as well, but I can tell you the others. Even if I am devoured, I can tell you." Wang Lin couldn't bear to push the madman too much. If not for the fact that these spells were extremely important to him, he wouldn't be doing all this. He felt even more apologetic toward him, but at the same time, the seed of karma had been planted. Although it was a bit shameless, Wang Lin would repay this several-fold in the future. On the path of cultivation, once he made a decision, he wouldn't hesitate. This was Wang Lin's path. The fortunes this madman had given him would be forever remembered in his heart. Even if this brought disaster upon him in the future, he wouldn't hesitate to continue down that path. Everything was because he believed that he had to repay all the kindness he received. After memorizing the 7-colored lance and the Li Kuang ball, Wang Lin suddenly stopped. He raised his left hand and pressed down on the nether beast. Thunderous rumbles echoed. Wang Lin let go of his right hand and threw the madman to the ground. He waved his right hand and dense fog surrounded him and the nether beast so the madman could see anything. Thunderous rumbles continued to echo across the world. The madman fell to the ground and looked at the fog in the air with excitement in his eyes. "You read not, O warrior, you read this king's benefactor. My big brother said that I must repay my benefactor. You can rest assured that after you die, I'll repay you, so please stop this beast," the madman said, as he quickly got up and ran without looking back. "Benefactor, go peacefully. This king will remember this matter and will certainly repay you." The madman ran faster and faster. In the blink of an eye, he was far away. The sky rumbled even more violently, but this didn't last for too long, and the fog dissipated. Wang Lin walked out and looked at the madman before stepping forward. The nether beast followed Wang Lin and chased with a fierce expression. The madman turned around as he ran and let out another miserable scream. "It's over. It is over. I am going to be eaten now." Filled with fear, he closed eyes and clenched his teeth. He then stretched out his neck and roared, "Eat, eat, so what? Eat." However, after waiting for a long time, he wasn't eaten. Still frightened, the madman opened his eyes and was startled. He saw the big beast that terrified him reveal a look of intimacy, and it was rubbing against Wang Lin. Wang Lin gently patted the beast with his right hand. "You tamed it? You actually tamed it." Man froze for a moment. His eyes were filled with fervor as he stared at Wang Lin. "My big brother said that there are many powerful people among the stars. This beast is so frightening. I don't think even my big brother could tame it. Expert, you must accept me as your disciple. You must take me as your disciple." Mid-month already, brothers. Do you have likes for the VIDE already? Don't hold back wishing for those likes. Chapter 1544. Leaving! Esteemed teacher, please accept this disciple. The madman knelt down before Wang Lin with the nether beast nearby. He continued to kowtow as his eyes were filled with a reverence. With my celestial ancestor as my oath, this king, Lian Dafei, worships you as my teacher and will never rebel against you in my life. As the madman spoke, he raised his right hand and hit the spot between his eyebrows. A mysterious power came from inside his body and shot toward Wang Lin. In a flash, it entered Wang Lin's body. Even Wang Lin was startled by this. He only meant to scare this madman to get the chance for the spells. He didn't expect this to happen. Teacher, quickly teach me the method you used to tame this large beast. I want to learn this so that if I meet another beast that wants to eat me, I'll just charge in and tame it. The madman was extremely excited as he looked at Wang Lin. He sat down on the side and thought, this king is so smart. Not only did I find my big brother an expert, but I can also learn spells. This deal sure is good, it sure is good. If my big brother knew, he would surely praise me. Wang Lin's expression became strange as his right patted the nether beast. The nether beast disappeared without a trace and the planet became quiet, leaving only the two of them. Wang Lin looked at the madman and gradually smiled. Wang Lin slowly said, the spell to tame this beast is very difficult. It isn't the time to teach you yet. Teacher also needs to know what else you know. The madman rolled his eyes and blinked. I don't know anymore. Just those, I forgot all the others. Since you don't want to tell me, forget it. Wang Lin smiled and changed the subject. However, do you want to leave this place? The madman's expression became excited. He quickly got up and said loudly, I've always wanted to leave, but I have looked for a very long time and couldn't find the way out. Wang Lin sat down on the side and smiled softly. I can take you outside, but I need to know the strongest Dao spell you know. 9 celestial vanishing Dao. Just as the madman finished speaking, he quickly covered his mouth and shook his head. I can say the exact details. There is an oath in my body, and if I say it, I'll suffer the punishment. The madman loosened his hand, but he didn't put it down. He pinched his nose and looked at Wang Lin. It didn't look like what he said was true at all. Wang Lin smiled and shook his head, no longer asking. He was greedy, but he wasn't going to push too hard. He had already obtained so much from this person, and being greedy for more seemed a bit too much. Also, all 4 of those spells Wang Lin was given would take a large amount of time to comprehend. He didn't have the time to comprehend more spells. I'll take you out of here in 3 days. Wang Lin pondered and then closed his eyes. He knew time was of the essence. He had to obtain enough Dao fruits to deal with the rejection force that was like a sword hang above his head. He was going to suppress the rejection force in his body to a certain degree so he would have the power to finish the remaining tasks. No, this king has already worshipped you as my teacher. You haven't even taught me one spell yet, so this king doesn't agree. Quickly teach me a spell or you read just bullying this king. The madman quickly ran up next to Wang Lin. When he saw Wang Lin close his eyes, he began to roar once more. This roars got louder and louder. After a while, he seemed to get tired and sat down opposite Wang Lin and began to ramble. You can bully me like this. I have already given you so many spells, so you have to give me a few. At least one. Little Red, isn't he just bullying this king? This king can endure, but Little Red, can you endure? Wang Lin opened his eyes amid all the chatter. He waved his hand and a golden wind filled the sky. 9 golden dragons appeared and blew out a gust of purple wind. As the purple wind swept the earth began to freeze. This spell, call the wind, I'll teach it to you. The madman looked at the sky with disdain in his eyes. Don't fool me, I'm not stupid. I'm not going to learn this little spell. Wang Lin waved his right hand, and the 9 dragons disappeared. Then his hand formed a seal, and the sky was filled with dark clouds. Lightning flashed, thunder rumbled, and golden rain quickly started falling. This rain caused the origin energy of the world to quickly gather. It's raining, Little Red, look, it's raining. The madman was startled for a moment before yawning. He shook his head and murmured, still trying to fool me? What kind of spell is this? This king want learn it. Wang Lin used Call the Wind, Summon the Rain, Magic Arsenal, and Mountain Crumbles. However, the madman only took a glance and shook his head. He gradually became angry and roared at Wang Lin. You old ghost, You re so stingy. Can't you just give me a good spell? You re too much. Wang Lin stared at the madman. After taking a deep breath, he showed him the heaven reversal stamp, the light and shadow shield, and the Dao fusion spell. What kind of thing is this? This can be called heaven reversal. I want to learn. Body covered in light. What kind of spell is this? I want to learn. This Dao spell fusion is too weak. A mouthful of this king's blood can melt everything. I want to learn it. Wang Lin frowned and slowly asked, what exactly do you want to learn? The madman became even more angry and cried, you just don't want to teach me. I want the spell you used to capture that great beast. Wang Lin felt some headache. After thinking for a bit, his right hand formed a seal and pointed. The entire planet suddenly became dark and turned into an endless ocean. Then the sun slowly began to rise, and the power of the sundered night began to appear. The madman's eyes lit up but quickly dimmed. He shook his head and said, this is not bad, but I have something even better than this. Wang Lin finally became irritated, and he waved his right hand. The darkness disappeared and a giant stone gate appeared. The power of time flowing quickly spread out. Thunderous rumbles and time rapidly moved as if thousands to tens of thousands of years were going to pass. The madman carefully looked for a while, and then shook his head. This stone gate isn't as good as my mansion's gate. I want to learn it. No matter how good Wang Lin's personality was, this was a bit unbearable. He took a deep breath and revealed all the spells he had learned in his life for the madman to choose. However, even until the end, the madman continued to shake his head. If the madman only shook his head, it wouldn't be so bad, but he was even angrier than Wang Lin. He roared at Wang Lin many times. You re an expert, there is no way you only know these spells. You just don't want to teach me. Enough. Wang Lin interrupted the madman's roar and let out an angry laugh. He coldly said, this is the last spell. If you want to learn it, or else forget it. Wang Lin raised his right hand and didn't even form a seal. He used the first spell he had ever learned, the attraction spell. With his cultivation level, using the QI condensation attraction spell was simply too easy. The earth trembled and a large rock flew in circle in the sky. The madman was startled for a moment and then stared at the rock in the sky. His eyes lit and he jumped up, rubbing his eyes. Then he began to clap. This is fun, haha, this is fun. I'll learn this. Expert teacher is really an expert to have such an incredible spell. Wang Lin was simply too lazy to pay attention to this madman. He took out a jade and imprinted the attraction spell on it. He threw the jade at the madman and closed his eyes to cultivate. The madman caught the jade and scanned it with his divine sense. He immediately jumped in the air in joy and immediately learned the spell. He quickly ran off into the distance and waved his hand. The earth shook and a piece of rock flew into the air. Fun, this is fun. The madman was filled with excitement and pointed many times. He caused dozens of stones to fly into the air and rotate around him. He rotated with the stones in circles until he was dizzy, but his excited laughter never stopped. He felt this wasn't exciting enough, so he ran into the distance and flew into the air. He pointed at the air, and the earth below him rumbled. Large quantities of rocks flew into the air, thousands of them. 3 days of time flew by in a flash. Wang Lin opened his eyes and gradually hid the golden light inside them. Unless you looked closely, you wouldn't notice it. He looked into the distance and frowned, shaking his head with a bitter smile. He saw the madman was laughing angrily. He had tens of thousands of rocks beside him like soldiers. Opposite of him, there were tens of thousands of rocks that were like enemies. He was actually manipulating heaps of rocks and directing them to collide in the air as if they were fighting. 7-colored little girl, will you obey this king? This king has an army of tens of thousands. If you don't listen, this king will be angry. After roaring, he ran into the opposite side. He wiggled his body and revealed a charming and delicate expression. You pervert, if you got guts, then come. Wang Lin didn't know if he should laugh or cry. Seeing that the madman was still happily playing, he got up and stepped forward. Enough. Let's leave and you can play more. The madman didn't want it to end, but he excitedly followed Wang Lin. He still looked back as if he wasn't willing to leave. He was wondering if he should take those with him. Wang Lin helplessly said, there are plenty more outside. The two walked further and further away and disappeared from this world. Mid-month and it's been forgotten. hoping for the like button for the video. Tears start to flow. Is there still time? Chapter The Great Battle Dragon Formation. As a result, their speed increased. As Wang Lin flew, he adjusted his Jai realm. After all these uses, it was damaged, so it sat inside his consciousness and slowly repaired itself. At noon of the second day, the fighting evil sect appeared in sight. Wang Lin's SG realm had recovered at this point. Looking at the mountain, the top of the mountain had been changed to the shape of a dragon. It looked like there was a dragon sitting on top of the mountain. On top of the dragon's head stood a white-haired old man. His face was dark and his gaze was cold as he stared at Wang Lin. In the air floated 10 core formation cultivators. Together they formed a sword formation. When they saw Wang Lin, they all revealed complex expressions. They were filled with fear and shock. The 10 formed a circle with 10 flying swords interlaced in the middle. The swords clattered as they hit each other, causing sparks to fly out. The person above the dragon's head waved his hand. The eyes of the dragon lit up and waves of spiritual energy came out from the dragon. There was one cultivator standing on each of the dragon's scales. With the shine of their swords, it looked like the dragon was alive. Xianxia looked carefully for a bit and said, "The Great Battle Dragon Formation." Mubei quickly explained, "This Great Battle Dragon Formation is the sect-protecting formation of the fighting evil sect. Rumor has it that only nascent soul-level cultivators can break through it, but not many in the sect believe it. After all, no one in this area has a formation that powerful." Wang Lin was a bit proficient in formations, and after looking at it for a bit, Li Muwan suddenly said, "This isn't a formation, but an amazing spell that channels the souls of everyone on the dragon to the person on top of the head, giving him a certain level of cultivation." At this moment, the person standing on the dragon's head's eyes lit up, and he shouted, "Fellow cultivator, who has the punish mark, I am the fighting evil sect's sect head, Ji Donglai. With the fighting evil sect's disciples. Since head elder Qian Kun provoked you, you killing him is not a big deal, but then you came here. If you win this battle, the entire fighting evil sect will listen to you, but if you lose, then Dante blame this old man for taking the cultivation pill. Do you dare to fight?" His voice roared out like thunder, and it spread across the area. The 13,562 disciples all shouted at the same time, creating a sound wave that split the clouds in the sky apart. Starting from the bottom of the dragon and quickly progressing to the top, over 10,000 flying swords shined and formed rings of spiritual energy. The higher up, the denser the rings were, with the ones at the top emitting powerful pressure. At the same time, the 10 core formation cultivators quickly flew toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin let go of Li Muwan and jumped forward with red lightning flashing in his eyes. The 10 cultivators' bodies quivered. They didn't dare to move forward. These 10 people had used various methods to learn of Wang Lin's strength in these few days, so when they saw Wang Lin charging at them, they couldn't help but hesitate. Wang Lin's gaze swept past them before dragging the dragon tendon behind him, causing the thousands of bodies to slam against the dragon. When the thousands of bodies collided with the dragon, they became a large wall of red mist. This was thanks to a protection barrier. Suddenly, the entire protection formation of the fighting evil sect was dyed dark red. The rings all gathered at the old man on the head of the dragon. A powerful aura came from his body, then his clothes ripped apart as he suddenly grew several times his original size. Powerful spiritual energy surged out like ocean waves from the old man, and pushed him directly from the mid-stage of core formation to the late stage of core formation. Then it continued to break through, reaching a stage like early-stage nascent soul without the nascent soul. This pseudo-nascent soul stage normally only occurred in puppets created by the higher cultivation countries. Ji Donglai let out a roar as he jumped into the air. He looked coldly at the core formation cultivators and shouted, "Unless trash, scram!" The 10 core formation cultivators revealed relieved expressions as they quickly moved to the side and then stared coldly at Wang Lin. Ji Donglai's gaze landed on Wang Lin. Then he grinned and said, "I have managed to gather all of the rumors about you on your way here. It seems that people under the nascent soul stage can harm you. But now that I have the power of a nascent soul cultivator, let me see how you will beat me." Li Muwan's face became pale. She looked at Wang Lin with a concerned gaze. However, when she saw a hint of disdain in Wang Lin's eyes, she relaxed for some unknown reason. Nan Mu and Nan Bei secretly groaned. They originally thought that Wang Lin would win for sure, but now the situation had changed. What was awaiting them was the fury of sect head Ji Donglai. It has to be said that the Fighting Evil sect has a very evil method of dealing with traitors. Shang Guamo's soul blood essence was in Wang Lin's hands, so if Wang Lin were to die, he would die as well. He was secretly cursing in his mind while trying to think of a way to break out of this situation. Wang Lin sneered in his heart as he jumped forward and landed feet in front of Ji Donglai while coldly staring at him. Don't you know the death spell? Let this old man see how powerful your death spell is. Ji Donglai's body disappeared and reappeared more than feet away from Wang Lin. The moment Ji Donglai disappeared, Wang Lin backed up until he was feet away from Ji Donglai. Ji Donglai disappeared again and Wang Lin backed up once more to feet away. At this distance, he began to think. Ji Donglai frowned as he stared at Wang Lin and sneered. What is the meaning of this? Wang Lin's eyes revealed a thoughtful expression before he said, I'm not going to fight anymore. With that, he flew to Li Muwan's side and grabbed her waist. He moved to a mountain feet away, sat down, and sneered at Ji Donglai. Ji Donglai frowned even harder and said, with a heavy tone, if that is the case, then this matter. Before he finished speaking, his body disappeared. When he reappeared, he was right in front of Wang Lin. He opened his mouth and spat out a ray of white light. The light turned into a fierce tiger that pounced at Wang Lin. At the same time, his right waved and an electric net appeared. The net quickly flew toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin remained calm as he let out a sneer. As the tiger jumped toward him, the devil inside the dragon tendon jumped out and ate the tiger. At the same time, the crystal sword flew out and the surrounding net released popping sounds. After several strikes from the sword, the electric net shattered to pieces. As for Ji Donglai, an ice flame that emitted waves of cold energy appeared in Wang Lin's hand. The moment the ice flame appeared, Ji Donglai's expression changed and he immediately backed up, but at that moment, he saw the red lightning in Wang Lin's eyes move and his soul shook. The shock to his soul caused his body to stop. As a result, the ice flame hit his chest. The ice rapidly spread and blood came out of his mouth. He quickly backed up and didn't stop until he was within 300 feet of the dragon's head. Both of his hands formed seals and hit his chest multiple times. Then he ate some pills and let out a roar. Only then did the ice that was already covering half of his body begin to shrink back to his chest, and then was forced out. The ice flame flickered. Its color had dimmed a lot as it flew back into Wang Lin's hand. From the beginning, Wang Lin didn't take the initiative and just stood feet away with a mocking expression. Ji Donglai's hand stopped hitting his chest. He stared at Wang Lin and suddenly asked, How did you find out? Wang Lin calmly said, I didn't figure anything out. I just noticed that your aura felt different at 300 feet compared to 500 feet. And at feet, your aura almost dropped out of the nascent soul realm. Li Muwan was really smart and immediately realized what was going on. She softly asked, His injury is also fake. The wound inflicted by the ice flame was real. But when he retreated to within feet of the dragon's head, the spiritual energy had already healed him completely. He was simply trying to get me to fight him within feet of the dragon's head. This was the first time Wang Lin had talked this much to Li Muwan, but although he was conversing with her, his gaze never left Ji Donglai. When he first saw the formation, he was shocked. If such a thing existed, then wouldn't he be invincible in this area? As long as he had enough people feeding spiritual energy, he could truly obtain a level of power as high as a soul formation cultivator S. If that was the case, then wouldn't the Fighting Evil sect already be the ruler of this area? Considering that, this technique must have some sort of fatal flaw. The first thing everyone would think of was that the time was short and the user of this technique must know it as well. So they should be able to use some method to help cover up this flaw. If that was the only flaw, it was still a very powerful technique. However, Wang Lin noticed that Ji Donglai had taunted him to fight instead of directly coming up to kill him. He found this very strange. He then calculated the distance between them at the time and he was about feet away. With that in mind, Wang Lin charged forth to feet, then back up to feet, and finally feet, before finding out the true fatal flaw of this technique. The further he got from the dragon's head, the lower the sect head's cultivation level dropped. Ji Donglai's expression was very unsettling. Even though he had this high of a cultivation level, he couldn't really use it. Although Wang Lin's guess was a bit off, it was not far from the truth. His cultivation level would be weakened a lot at feet, and at that range, his chance of winning was low. And if Wang Lin were to back up even more, past feet, then his cultivation level would immediately fall out of the nascent soul realm and plummet back into the core formation stage. Mid-month and the hope for likes on the video has slipped by 2 days already? Tears streaming. Is there any hope left? Chapter 1545. 3 Treasures. How beautiful is the outside world? How beautiful are the women of the outside world? How many people are in the outside world? Loud howls echoed from the area the nether beast was hiding. This sound was filled with excitement that had been suppressed for countless years. Along with the voice was a dirty and thin figure that continued to roar as he rushed around within the area. Wang Lin was already used to the madman's noise and didn't pay attention to his madness. Wang Lin silently looked ahead at the stars before him and felt that familiar aura. The aura of his home. Finally returned home, Wang Lin's eyes were filled with melancholy. He had a home, and it was in the brilliant void on planet Suzaku. However, he had no family left, only dead souls. He didn't even know why he wanted to go home. This wasn't just for Qing Shui, Situnan or others, but in his heart, even after thousands of years of drifting. There was a strange force that made it so he couldn't cut himself off. Even if he had no family members left. Wang Lin's eyes were filled with sadness. This sadness had been with him his entire life. Wang Lin looked ahead for a long time before closing his eyes. There was no tears, only pain. The madman's roars gradually weakened. He looked at Wang Lin with a puzzled expression and stretched his head. He had never seen Wang Lin reveal such an expression, but he could faintly feel the sadness coming from Wang Lin's soul. Hey little girl, what's wrong with you? Come and tell this king if someone is bullying you. This king will get justice for you. The madman put his hands on his waist and raised his chin, making himself look mighty. Wang Lin opened his eyes and silently shook his head. He walked off into the distance with heavy steps. He walked very slowly, and his gaze fell on the stars. He felt like everything here was very familiar, but the more clear this feeling was, the more melancholy he felt. He couldn't understand why he felt even more melancholy than the time he came back from all heaven. Perhaps this time he had experienced far too much and gone too far away. Don't be like this. If you like this, this king will feel sad too. This king is now homesick too. Little red, little silver, where are you two bastards? Why haven't you come find this king yet? I miss home. I want to go home. The madman followed Wang Lin, slowly being influenced by Wang Lin's emotions. He eventually became depressed. However, the madman's mood changed quickly. It didn't take long for him to forget his sadness from before and become excited once more. He roared as he controlled the rocks around him, having the time of his life. Wang Lin silently walked forward as he buried the sadness and hid his exhaustion. He had many things to do. He couldn't rest yet. Looking at the madman that was playing in the distance but would never go too far away, Wang Lin revealed a hint of envy for this madman's happiness. The madman was able to forget anything and always find ways to make himself happy. Wang Lin couldn't do this. Just like this, the two of them walked into the distance as the madman's laughter and hoarse roars echoed. Shortly after, a large cultivation planet appeared before them. This planet was very large and was similar to the size of planet Tianyun. However, the amount of smaller planets protecting it was far more than planet Tianyun. Wang Lin hadn't come to this planet before, so it was a bit unfamiliar. There were ripples echoing around the planet, giving off the aura of restrictions. The entire cultivation planet was completely silent. It was as if it was dead. There was no sound. As he looked over, the madman also saw the cultivation planet. He immediately became cheerful. His eyes lit up, and he began to roar. Wow, wow. So many people, so many girls, this place is good. This king is finally seeing other people. So fun, so fun. The madman excitedly waved his hands and looked at Wang Lin. I want to go play there. Wang Lin's gaze swept past the cultivation planet. He didn't attract the attention of any cultivators on the planet, and clearly saw the entire situation. This was a rank 7 cultivation planet divided into hundreds of countries. There were a lot of cultivators too, but most of them were at the first step. There weren't many second step cultivators present. On the surface, the person with the highest cultivation level was a middle-aged man at the Nirvana cleanser stage. However, at the center of the planet there was a cavern, and there were clearly 4 old monsters who were always in closed-door cultivation there. The one with the highest cultivation level was a person at 3rd Heaven S Blight. The other 2 were at the 1st Heaven S Blight, and the final person was at the Nirvana Shatterer stage. There were fire and ice forces in the cave in the center of the planet. These people were clearly borrowing this power to suppress their Heaven S Blights, attempting to slowly pass them. I have important matters to attend to, so I can play with you. Wang Lin withdrew his gaze. He knew that no one here could injure this madman. No problem. I'll go play by myself. If you follow me, I'll feel uncomfortable. Even if you insist on following, this King won't agree. The madman let out a snort. Wang Lin pondered a bit as he looked at the madman. There was a hint of softness in his eyes as he said, "Must it be here? You better follow me, and once I finish my matter, I'll take you to play." The madman shook his head as he looked back at the cultivation planet. His eyes were filled with excitement as he muttered, "So many people here, this must be very fun. So many women, so many cultivators. Haha, I escaped back then just to find a place like this to play. I don't want to go anywhere else, this is the place." Seeing the madman's expression, Wang Lin let out a wry smile. After pondering a bit, Wang Lin still felt uneasy. After all, the madman had the mind of a child. Even though he had an immortal body, it was inevitable he would be deceived. It was fine if Wang Lin deceived him, but he wouldn't allow anyone else to deceive this madman. Wang Lin always repaid those who had been kind to him, and this madman had granted him a great fortune. He wouldn't allow anyone to harm this madman. No. Wang Lin waved his sleeves and an array of golden light shot toward the madman. After it wrapped around the madman, he left with the madman in tow. There was anger in the madman's eyes and he began to roar. He struggled and used some unknown method to break free from the golden light. He then angrily roared at Wang Lin while feeling proud. "Damn it, you dare to try to force this king? Even Big Brother can control me. If this king wants to go play there, this king will go. Even if you read this king's teacher, so what? How many teachers does this king have? Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 8, forget it. How dare you try to force me? I will go there to play." The madman glared at Wang Lin and bared his teeth, revealing a ferocious expression. Wang Lin coldly looked at the madman. He was a quiet person, and was not someone who liked to accommodate others. Seeing the madman so determined, he let out a cold snort and waved his right hand. 2 rays of light flew out from his storage space. An excited roar came from the first ray of light. "I'm not going back, no matter what. I'm not going back. Every time you need me, you take me out, and then throw me back when you don't. Even though I am a sword spirit, I have contributed great merits for a fiend like you. You can do this to me." The ray of light was Shu Liguo. The moment he appeared, he saw the madman. The madman was also startled for a moment, and looked at Shu Liguo. The 2 of them looked at each other for a while before a head peeked out from the second ray of light. It was Lu Jinbiao. Lu Jinbiao carefully looked around and then examined the madman. Finally, he let out a few dry coughs and carefully walked out. "The 2 of you, accompany him and wait for me here on this cultivation planet. During this time, don't let anyone hurt him." Wang Lin was a man of few words, and his words gave off a sense of pressure. Wang Lin looked at the madman before he turned around and walked into the distance. With Shu Liguo, who had a decent cultivation level, and Lu Jinbiao, who was good at deceiving, this madman should be fine on this safe cultivation planet. As a result, he could rest assured. He then charged straight for the Cultivation Alliance headquarters. "Senior brother Qing Shui, Wang Lin is coming." After Wang Lin left, the madman and Shu Liguo stared at each other. After a long time, the 2 spoke almost at the same time. "Little girl, tell this king, what is your name? Who are you?" Shu Liguo was startled for a moment and immediately became angry. He viciously stared at the madman and said, "Who is a little girl? This old man is a man." The madman laughed and pointed at Shu Liguo. He was about to say something but continued laughing and holding his belly. It was as if he was rolling on the ground. "You a man? Ha, little red, come here and see. This sword spirit thinks he is not a little girl. Ha, this king is going to laugh to death. It's raining. Little red, it's raining? Go get me an umbrella." As the madman talked to himself, confusion filled his eyes. He gradually stopped laughing and stared at Shu Liguo. Shu Liguo blinked after being stared at the madman, feeling very strange. He looked toward Li Jinbiao with a questioning gaze. Lu Jinbiao had a solemn expression and took a few steps forward. He carefully examined the madman before looking at Shu Liguo with a smile. However, no matter how one looked at it, there was something sickening about that smile. Madman? Yes, a madman, no doubt about it. Shu Liguo and Lu Jinbiao made eye contact. They turned their heads at the same time and smiled at the madman. It's the middle of the month. Wishing Leo's video gets plenty of likes. Remember to like and share Leo's video, okay? And don't forget to leave your thoughts about the video. Chapter 1546. I have returned. Wang Lin moved among the stars by himself. His body was extremely powerful, so he didn't even need to avoid spatial rifts. The spatial rifts would often collapse when they touched him, causing him no harm. There was a faint golden light inside his body. As he moved forward, space itself seemed to shrink under his feet. Just one step would carry him over countless kilometers. Without the madman following, Wang Lin's speed had reached a peak. He was far away from the Alliance headquarters, but it only took him 3 steps to sweep through the star system. With the first step, he appeared within an area filled with cultivation planets and cultivators. No one noticed Wang Lin's presence. Most only felt a faint ripple appear and immediately disappear. Master Lu Fu was among these cultivators. The Brilliant Void had very few third-step cultivators, and those that knew ancient formations were even less. Master Hong Shan had invited Master Lu Fu here to place down formations. Even he only felt his vision blur, as if someone had passed by. His eyes immediately narrowed. It felt as if someone has just passed a very familiar aura. Master Lu Fu looked ahead and shook his head. This aura is very similar to him. It has been a few decades, but there has been no news of him. Maybe my vision just went blurry. Master Lu Fu's expression seemed down. Wang Lin also saw Master Lu Fu, but time was of the essence, so he didn't stop and took the second step. With this second step, he arrived at the center of the Brilliant Void. This area was rather empty, and soon spatial rifts appeared like scars. It was as if there had been a great battle here years ago. This battle was very fierce, so much so that it caused the space here to collapse. It was because of these collapses that countless spatial rifts had appeared. It was as if this area was cut off from the Brilliant Void star system. The rifts also made it very difficult for divine sense to cover this area. Coupled with the ripples that filled the area, it was impossible for divine sense to sense anything. This became an area where divine sense was useless. There was even the faint smell of blood lingering about. This revealed the tragedy that had taken place here. Wang Lin clearly remembered that the battle between Al-Heaven and the Alliance was not this intense. There was only one answer to this change. It is unknown how much time I spent inside the Nether Beast. I wonder how many more battles against the Outer Realm have occurred. The 7 colored realms should have been found and destroyed. Wang Lin was about to take the third step, but before he put his foot down, there was a flash of coldness in his eyes, and he looked into the distance. There were 3 rays of lights flying in the distance. The one in front was an inner realm cultivator. It was an old man with a pale expression who was constantly coughing out blood, but his expression was ferocious. Behind him were 2 outer realm cultivators with different marks between their eyebrows. One of them was from the Fire Sparrow clan, and the other was actually from the Heavenly Wolf clan. The 2 had gloomy expressions and revealed a cruel intent. The Fire Sparrow clan cultivator sneered and waved his right hand. A fire rushed out from between his eyebrows. Master Flamespark, you have entered this place several times. Do you think this place belongs to your inner realm? We let you go the last few times, but this time you can stay. The fire shot toward the old man like crazy. That old man was Master Flamespark? Master Flamespark's eyes were filled with madness. His hands formed a seal and he waved forward. More than a dozen fragments appeared and formed rotating barriers. They collided with the sea of fire. There was a thunderous bang, and as the impact spread, Master Flamespark coughed out blood. He borrowed his impact to charge forward like crazy. The fragments behind him were burned by the sea of flames, and 3 of them collapsed. The remaining fragments followed Master Flamespark. If not for the Vice Deputy of the Sovereign Council, esteemed teacher Tian Zhao, having an agreement with your inner realm to cease all fighting, do you still think the Brilliant Void realm would belong to your inner realm? The Heavenly Wolf clan member revealed a look of contempt. He waved his right hand, and a green wolf phantom thousands of feet tall appeared. It pounced at Master Flamespark. Their two cultivators from the ancient star system were both at the peak of the Nirvana Shatterer stage, same as the current Master Flamespark. The fact that he was able to persist until now was evident of how powerful he was. As the green wolf closed in, Master Flamespark suddenly turned around. He bit the tip of his tongue and spat out blood at the dozen fragments behind him. His expression became ferocious, and he shouted, "Explode!" Thunderous rumbles continued as more than a dozen fragments exploded, creating a powerful destructive force. The green wolf let out a miserable scream and collapsed. However, similarly, Master Flamespark's body trembled. His face turned pale and he staggered. Remnant Outer Realm cultivators. If Master Hongshan wasn't T-trapped, if Master South Cloud came out from closed-door cultivation, if the Lord of the Sealed Realm wasn't T-missing, how would you dare to be so arrogant? Master Flamespark's voice was mournful and his eyes were filled with madness. He knew that as long as he escaped, these two wouldn't chase him anymore. After all, once he left this area, there would be no special rifts sealing his movement and he would be able to use spatial bending. If those two continued to chase, they would have to worry. However, he was still a certain distance from the edge of this area. Master Flamespark clenched his teeth and retreated with all his power. The Fire Sparrow clan cultivator and the Heavenly Wolf clan cultivator stepped over the impact from the collapse and got closer and closer. Ridiculous. Forget Master Hongshan and Master South Cloud, but what about the so-called Lord of the Sealed Realm? That person just got lucky and gave up his own life. He is clearly dead. But you continue to insist that he is just missing. There was hatred in the eyes of the cultivator formed the Fire Sparrow clan. He let out a cold snort and his right hand formed a seal. A black firebird appeared behind him and let out a cry. The Lord of the Sealed Realm is already dead. You all are more aware of this than us. If he is alive, why did he not appear in the second and the third battles? Why did he not appear when Master Hongshan was trapped? Lord of the Sealed Realm. That's just a false name. In this old man's eyes, he is but a child. The words from the Heavenly Wolf clan cultivator were sharp. His right hand formed a seal and green hair soon grew on his entire right arm. Master Flamespark's expression was dim as he retreated, but he still laughed wildly. He pointed at the Fire Sparrow clan cultivator and smiled fiercely. Ridiculous? He killed your Fire Sparrow clan ancestor in an instant and cut down more than 100,000 Outer Realm cultivators. Did you hear the miserable screams of your ancestor before he died? The killing intent in the Fire Sparrow clan cultivator's eyes became monstrous. This was the pain their entire Fire Sparrow clan was suffering. And you from the Heavenly Wolf clan, your ancestor is slave to the Lord of the Sealed Realm. Although he fled, do you see a day where he isn't afraid? A day he isn't frightened? The expression of the Heavenly Wolf clan cultivator changed greatly. The green hair on his hand grew more and soon covered most of his upper body. His right arm suddenly turned into a giant wolf head. Go to the underworld to find your Lord of the Sealed Realm. With a roar, the Heavenly Wolf clan cultivator threw a punch. A shocking wolf howl echoed, and his right arm flew off. It turned into a giant wolf that shot toward Master Flamespark. At the same time, the cultivator from the Fire Sparrow clan let out a roar. The black firebird let out a hiss and a monstrous sea of black fire surrounded it. It charged toward Master Flamespark at a shocking speed with the giant wolf. All of this happened in an instant. Master Flamespark revealed a miserable smile and gave up all thoughts of escape. Madness appeared in his eyes, and a sense of haughtiness surged. This old man isn't afraid of death. If I die, I lie with a bang. He didn't retreat, but laughed like crazy. He was going to burn himself to gain that burst of power. The black firebird carried a monstrous fire, and the giant wolf carried a murderous aura as they closed in. The Fire Sparrow clan and Heavenly Wolf clan cultivator revealed cruel smiles. The two could already imagine Master Flamespark dying. Even if he were to self-destruct, it would be useless before their combined force. However, just at this moment, a shocking change occurred. An ordinary right hand suddenly appeared behind Master Flamespark's body. It gently grabbed him and softly pulled. This extinguished the fire on Master Flamespark's body and pulled him to the side. Shortly after, a figure in white suddenly appeared. His expression was gloomy. Then he suddenly looked up and his eyes revealed a dazzling golden glow. This golden light was heaven-shaking. When it appeared, it lit up the entire area as if it was a golden world. Scram! The moment the golden light appeared, an extremely cold voice that caused the two outer realm cultivators to lose their wits echoed. The two of them were very familiar with this voice. This voice was a nightmare in their memory. They were part of the third wave of cultivators, and this voice was the source of their endless fear. When they clearly saw that figure, the last strand of hope they were clinging to collapsed. Lord of the Sealed Realm. Lord of the Sealed Realm! A voice distorted by indescribable fear came out of those two. This kind of voice could only appear when one had been scared to the point of their mind collapsing. Lord of the Sealed Realm Wang Lin. The last voice was filled with unimaginable joy. This was from Master Flamespark, who was shocked with disbelief. I have returned. Mid-month, hoping to get the like button pressed for the VIDEO. Chapter 1547, Decades of Changes. The Fire Sparrow Clan cultivator instantly turned pale and quickly retreated. He didn't know if he could escape, but the only thought in his mind was escape, escape, escape. However, forget about him. Even if the Fire Sparrow Clan ancestor was reborn, he wouldn't be able to put up any resistance against Wang Lin. The golden light from Wang Lin's eyes swept the area, causing all the spatial rifts in the area to collapse. As for the Fire Sparrow Clan cultivator, he only took half a step back before golden light surrounded his body. He let out a miserable scream and his origin soul collapsed without any resistance. The big black firebird he had summoned to devour Master Flamespark was filled with fear. It had gained some intelligence and began to panic. However, it was also surrounded by the golden light and erased from existence. The cultivator from the Heavenly Wolf clan trembled. He didn't see the death of his companion as everything before him was replaced by the golden light. He could vaguely see Wang Lin's blurry figure from behind the golden light. This figure had been his nightmare for the past several decades. He could never forget that figure that held the giant axe that prevented tens of thousands of cultivators from entering and tens of thousands of cultivators from leaving. He still remembered that name. Lord of the Sealed Realm. With him there, tens of thousands of cultivators didn't dare to take half a step. The power of that axe had destroyed countless cultivators from the third wave. The shocking spatial rift it had left was still there. Every time he passed by that rift, his heart would tremble. He couldn't forget that he was on the other side of that axe back then. Large amounts of his companions had died, and he was lucky to survive. He carried with him a lifetime of nightmares as he retreated in fear. Today he saw that terrifying figure once more. Under this indescribable fear, the Heavenly Wolf Clan cultivator unexpectedly went crazy. With a twisted smile, he forgot to retreat. His skin immediately melted, and his origin soul collapsed. His existence instantly disappeared. All of this happened in a flash. For Wang Lin, killing these two little outer realm cultivators was like crushing ants. He turned around and looked at the startled yet excited Master Flamespark. Al Heaven Northwest Frontline Deputy Commander, Lord of the Sealed Realm ranking 53rd Master Flamespark greets the Lord of the Sealed Realm. Master Flamespark, excited, clasped his hands and bowed. Lord of the Sealed Realm, the inner realm has lost the 7 colored realms were left here tens of thousands of years ago by the Sovereign. After he disappeared, Master Hongshan and the others launched the full force of the inner realm to find them. In the end, including the one inside the Alliance headquarters, we only found a total of 5. However, no one had thought that these 5 7-colored realm were a trap set by the Sovereign. When 2 of them were opened, large amounts of outer realm cultivators appeared, then the second battle suddenly began. The 5 7-colored realms became 5 portals into the inner realm, allowing the outer realm cultivators to enter. With the 7 colored realms as bases, they were able to invade the inner realm. The casualties were heavy. During the second battle, Senior Master Hongshan was attacked by the cold-looking boy and other third-step cultivators from the outer realm. In the end, he was trapped inside the 7-colored realm in Summoned River, with 30,000 cultivators guarding it. Currently, the person leading the inner realm is one of his avatars. Senior Master South Cloud was seriously injured by the Sovereign and went into closed-door cultivation. Even today, he shows no sign of coming out. The second battle affected the 4 major star systems. At the most critical moment, Celestial Emperor Qing Lin left the Rain Celestial Realm and led the battle. Even with the third-step cultivators from the Summoned River delaying them, we were unable to stop the approach of the Outer Realm army. The Outer Realm has far more third-step cultivators than our Inner Realm. In the end, Celestial Emperor Qing Lin used an ancient celestial spell that summoned the ancient light to seal the connection between the 7 colored realms and the outer realm. This made it so the passages were sealed for a short period of time, allowing us to barely survive the second battle. The outer realm cultivators that entered the inner realm were divided into 5 armies that remained in the 5 7-colored realms. They are like 5 nails that have been stabbed into our inner realm and can be removed. The battle subsided for a period of time. The outer realm will need some time to break the ancient light open. After that, all the 3rd step cultivators rested and then gathered all the remaining cultivators to launch the 3rd battle. The purpose of the 3rd battle was to shatter the 5 7-colored realms. But in the end, we only managed to destroy 3, and both sides suffered heavy losses. Several outer realm 3rd step cultivators were killed and seriously injured, but it was the same for us. Celestial Emperor Qing Lin was seriously injured, 2 from the summoned river died, and the rest were all forced into closed-door cultivation to heal. Now it is the 9th year after the 3rd battle. According to Master Hong Shan's calculations, it won't take long for the outer realm to break the ancient light. Then they will enter and combine forces with the 2 remaining 7-colored realms. The inner realm is in danger. Master Flamespark quickly told Wang Lin what had happened. He had been seriously injured in the 3rd battle and his cultivation level had dropped. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been hunted by 2 Nirvana Shatter cultivators. After excitedly saying all of this, he coughed out a mouthful of blood and looked extremely bleak. His injuries erupted and he was at this end. Lord of the Sealed Realm, the inner realm is in danger. There was no 7-colored realm in Al Heaven. The one in the Cloud Sea was destroyed by you. After you disappeared, we found the other 5 places. Aside from the one in the Brilliant Void, the rest were all at the Summoned River. As a result, the Summoned River fell when the 2nd battle began. To this day, we are still unable to take back Summoned River. It has become a territory of the Outer Realm cultivators. They often abuse the cultivators of the Summoned River. During the 1st battle, the Cloud Sea almost collapsed, but it is still within our control. All Heaven is the most calm and there wasn't much collapse. However, the Brilliant Void is similar to the Summoned River. Due to the 7-colored realm in the Alliance headquarters, this star system is controlled by both sides. Master Hong Shan tried to destroy the remaining 7-colored realms because he was afraid of facing 2 fronts once the 4th battle began. However, he has tried many times, but the inner realm doesn't have the power to destroy them anymore. Everyone is in closed-door cultivation. Wang Lin silently pondered, and there was a flash of coldness in his eyes. He didn't expect time to flow differently inside the Nether Beasts. So much fighting had happened outside. The Summoned River has fallen. The Alliance headquarters is occupied by Outer Realm cultivators. There was a flash of killing intent in Wang Lin's eyes. Why are you here? Wang Lin's killing intent caused the golden light to unconsciously leak out. When it landed on Master Flamespark, he felt like he was an ant before Wang Lin, and Wang Lin was like the heavens. He had long felt that Wang Lin was even stronger than before. Lord of the Sealed Realm said that you would come here. I didn't believe you were dead, and I guessed that you would come here once you appeared. So I came here many times over the years. In addition, I have orders from Master Hong Shan to observe this place. If anything happens to the 7-colored realm, I need to report it. Master Flamespark was very respectful and didn't dare to look at Wang Lin's eyes. That golden light made him feel fear. Wang Lin raised his right hand and waved at Master Flamespark as he pondered. A ray of golden light flew into Master Flamespark, and his body trembled. The veins on his face swelled and large amount of sweat appeared, but his eyes became even brighter. In an instant, he let out a painful roar. The sweat from his body was dark and smelled, but his scattering aura began to condense. It was even showing signs of a breakthrough. In a flash, Master Flamespark's eyes became bright and his white hair suddenly turned black. His appearance went from an old man to middle-aged. His eyes were filled with disbelief as he stared at this body and became even more excited. Thank you, Lord of the Sealed Realm. There was fervor in Master Flamespark's eyes and he deeply bowed at Wang Lin. He could clearly feel that the golden light had caused his body to be reborn. The golden light that made him feel suffocated had changed everything. He didn't know what this golden light was, but he guessed that this light had to come from a powerful source. Follow me to destroy this realm. Wang Lin stepped toward the former Alliance headquarters that was now occupied by Outer Realm cultivators. This one line revealed Wang Lin's self-confidence and determination. This filled Master Flamespark with an inexplicable sense of confidence. As long as Wang Lin went, then no matter how dangerous the seven-colored realm was, the enemy wouldn't be able to stop Wang Lin at all. Killing intent flashed in Master Flamespark's eyes, and he nodded. He suppressed the excitement in his heart and followed Wang Lin. When he looked at Wang Lin's slightly golden figure, he had a feeling that Wang Lin didn't belong in this world. This golden light made him feel awe. He even felt the urge to worship. Master Flamespark followed behind Wang Lin and respectfully said, "Lord of the Sealed Realm, the Sovereign Council's Vice Deputy, esteemed teacher Xianxia, is inside the seven-colored realm in the Alliance headquarters. He is also a third-step cultivator at the early stage of Spirit Void. There is a still large amount of restrictions and treasures left in the Alliance. Even Master Zhongshuan is still alive and became a dog of the Outer Realm. No problem." Wang Lin's was calm as he got closer and closer to the Cultivation Alliance headquarters. Welcome everyone to watch. Fans of the narrative chapter expressed their wishes for praise in the latest installment. May the new chapter receive even more acclaim. Chapter 1548, Wang Lin's excess prestige. Wang Lin's calm words caused Master Flamespark to become even more respectful. Wang Lin's expression was calm, revealing no emotion, but his cold eyes could freeze the world before him. He took the final step. With this step, the world distorted and the countless spatial rifts collapsed. Wang Lin took Master Flamespark and crossed a huge distance to appear outside the Alliance headquarters. There was a huge vortex silently rotating before Wang Lin. Every time it rotated, it felt like origin energy was being absorbed into the vortex. Looking at the giant vortex before him, Wang Lin recalled the past. Back then, he wasn't able to enter this place, or he wasn't qualified to enter. This was the peak of the brilliant void star system when he was a cultivator on planet Suzaku. The headquarters of the Cultivation Alliance. The Cultivation Alliance of the past was the ruler of the brilliant void star system, and its power swept across the entire star system. However, due to the battle against Alheaven and Xianxia entering, the alliance had collapsed. The headquarters then sealed itself off from the inside. Wang Lin was now here, looking at the alliance headquarters and muttering some words only he could hear. Senior brother Qing Shu, you have to live. Wang Lin let out a sigh and raised his right hand. He pointed at the giant vortex that hadn't stopped rotating for countless years. With this point, a golden light shined from his finger. A ray of golden light flew out and landed on the vortex. At that moment, a shocking rumble began to echo. The vortex trembled and slowly stopped rotating. This scene caused Master Flamespark's eyes to widen. He had already guessed that Wang Lin was powerful, but this still shocked him greatly. As the former elder of the Cultivation Alliance, he knew that this was the first seal, and it could be said to be the first gate for the Cultivation Alliance. This sealing vortex came from the ancient cultivation world. It was obtained by the Cultivation Alliance when the Rain's celestial realm collapsed. Later on, it was reinforced by others and became an extremely powerful formation. Once it was activated, it would never stop. It would constantly withdraw power from the world, making it even stronger. Although the inner realm cultivators were split off to the different seven-colored realms, there was still a large amount of cultivators, along with Master Lufu and a third-step cultivator from the Summoned River. Even they weren't able to make the vortex stop, only slow it down. When Master Flamespark saw that Wang Lin's casual point had caused the vortex to release a sound as if it couldn't bear it anymore, he became startled. What kind of cultivation is this? Master Flamespark looked at Wang Lin's back in terror, and his mind went blank. Wang Lin's expression remained neutral. As he pointed forward and stopped the vortex, he waved to the side. The vortex rumbled and released loud roars. Thousands of cultivators suddenly appeared from the vortex. They all had marks between their eyebrows. They were outer realm cultivators. Who dares to break in? Ants of the inner realm, you were all looking for death. It has been quiet for so many years. Someone finally tries to break in. This old man wants to see how many people came. After these people appeared, they all revealed murderous expressions, but even more apparent was their bloodthirst. They had stopped fighting for a long time, and the killing intent that had been suppressed finally erupted. Now that someone had attempted to break in, they became excited. In an instant, thousands of cultivators charged out and filled the vortex. A fierce aura erupted and roars shook the heavens. Only 2 people? 2 mere ants dared to come here. This person, these thousands of cultivators were originally filled with cruel expressions. However, some of them recognized Wang Lin's in different gaze, and their expressions changed greatly. Those cruel and excited expressions collapsed and were replaced with disbelief and monstrous terror. This is he is Lord of the Sealed Realm. Lord of the Sealed Realm. Isn't he dead? He is the Lord of the Sealed Realm. This caused an uproar, and the thousands of cultivators that were charging out all retreated. No, a single one of them dared to take half a step out. Their expressions were filled with terror. Wang Lin's figure was like their lingering nightmares. Most of these cultivators had been part of the Third Army. When they saw Wang Lin, it was as if the fear from the past had reappeared. It really is him? The Lord of the Sealed Realm that killed countless Outer Realm cultivators and destroyed the first battlefield. Because of how traumatized they were, some people screamed when they saw Wang Lin. As if they had forgotten everything, they tried to retreat. The thousands of cultivators immediately became a mess. Watching this, Master Flamespark began to tremble. He understood that in the whole Inner Realm, only one person could do this. Only Wang Lin could cause the minds of thousands of cultivators to collapse just by showing himself. This momentum, this majesty, this killing intent was something no one else could replicate. This was the Lord of the Sealed Realm. There was a flash of coldness in his eyes, and he waved his right hand. The vortex rumbled, and a giant crack appeared inside it. It was as if a pair of giant, invisible hands had ripped the vortex open. Thunderous rumbles echoed and the vortex was ripped in half. Wang Lin walked forward. Although he looked slow, he was actually moving extremely fast toward the vortex that was ripped open. As Wang Lin moved forward, the tear on the vortex became even more intense. Wang Lin was like an invisible sword, and soon as he got close, the invisible sword energy would destroy anything in his path. The vortex that had stopped rotating was torn in half and scattered to the side. Hundreds of cultivators let out miserable screams as they were affected by the collapse of the vortex and died. As Wang Lin moved forward, he stepped into the vortex. He then raised his right foot and mercilessly stomped down. A thunderous rumble echoed, space itself trembled, and cracking sounds echoed. Spider web-like cracks appeared and immediately collapsed. Space itself began to collapse, and as it collapsed, Wang Lin waved his right hand. A golden light shot out, forming a golden storm that swept the area. It was as if had wind blown by and lifted off a veil. The thousands of cultivators that had charged out all died miserably under this golden storm. They couldn't fight back at all. When the veil was lifted, the space became clear and the Cultivation Alliance headquarters was revealed. It was a giant cultivation planet with countless smaller planets surrounding it. A monstrous bloodlight was being emitted from below the planet. At a glance, there was spatial rift below the cultivation planet, and the bloodlight was coming from that rift. As Master Flamespark followed Wang Lin, he looked at all of this with hatred in his eyes. He stared at the giant planet before him and pointed. Lord of the Sealed Realm, that is where the main hall for the Cultivation Alliance is located. Master Xianxia is there. At the same time, rustling sounds came from all directions. Outer Realm cultivators rushed out from the planet, and tens of thousands of cultivators appeared. When they saw Wang Lin, their monstrous killing intent suddenly disappeared, and their expressions all changed greatly. They recognized Wang Lin. Master Flamespark became nervous after being stared at by tens of thousands of cultivators, but after looking at Wang Lin, he relaxed. Wang Lin's calm expression revealed that all of this meant nothing to him. Lord of the Sealed Realm. A sneer came from the large cultivation planet, then a black mist appeared out of thin air. An old man in black walked out. The moment he appeared, all the Outer Realm cultivators became spirited. Master Flamespark quickly said, "He is esteemed teacher Tian Zhao." Wang Lin's indifferent gaze landed on the old man in black and then he stepped forward. The moment Wang Lin moved, the old man in black smiled. His hands formed a seal and boundless Joss flame energy appeared. So what if he is the Lord of the Sealed Realm? All of you, watch how this old man kills this Lord of the Sealed Realm. After I kill him, this old man will be ranked first in the ancient star system ranking. The old man in black sneered and also stepped forward. He waved his sleeves and the Joss flames formed 3 black dragons. They were covered in thorns, looking like 3 black whips. The spiritual power unique to spirit void cultivators spread out, and the strange murmur echoed. The 3 black dragons opened their mouths, revealing 3 Joss flame realms containing countless Joss flame disciples. The Joss flames entered the 3 black dragons, turning them into 3 Joss flame dragons. This was esteemed teacher Xianxia's. It was even famous in the ancient star system. These dragons were not dead. He had gone through a lot of danger to capture these real dragons in a mysterious land. After being refined for tens of thousands of years, esteemed teacher Xianxia was able to make these 3 black dragons worship him and become his Joss flame souls. Today marks the first watch, longing for the like button for the VIDEO. The VIDEO wants to charge up the trending charts, hoping the veteran supporters lend their firepower. Chapter 1549. Ask the heavens who can control life and death. Although esteemed teacher Xianxia sounded arrogant and revealed a look of contempt, he was extremely serious. Although he hadn't seen Wang Lin before, the name of the Lord of the Sealed Realm was often talked about in the past several decades. In particular, how the Fire Sparrow clan ancestor was cut in half brought him shock. However, if this was it, he wouldn't mind. After all, the Fire Sparrow clan ancestor was only at the early stage of Nirvana Void and not worthy of his attention. What really shocked him was esteemed Nanzhao. Esteemed Nanzhao's cultivation level was similar to his, but in the end he died miserably to this Lord of the Sealed Realm. He was seeing Wang Lin for the first time now, and he had watched him stop and tear apart this vortex that had been rotating for countless years outside the Alliance headquarters. This caused his scalp to go numb. However, right now he had to speak like this. Otherwise, if he revealed any intent to retreat, the minds of these tens of thousands of cultivators could immediately collapse. This person borrowed the formation spirit from back then. There is no way someone at his cultivation level could kill Nanzhao. Today he was able to pause the vortex due to his understanding of restrictions. This old man doesn't believe he can do anything without the heaven-splitting axe. Esteemed teacher Xianxia calmed down after thinking about the thing inside the 7-colored realm. At this moment, he waved his big sleeve, and the 3 Joss flame black dragons shot toward Wang Lin. The tens of thousands of outer realm cultivators were all nervous. Wang Lin had appeared too suddenly, and before they could adjust their thoughts, they were already filled with fear. They didn't even dare to resist. Wang Lin had left a profound impression on them back then. It was a sense of madness that could make their souls quake, a sense of glory and might that made them tremble in fear. Before the first battle, the ancient star system had placed Wang Lin as the #1 person to kill. Most people in the ancient star system felt disdain toward this, but after the first battle, no one questioned it. Wang Lin was someone the outer realm cultivators feared a lot. It was a painful tear in the flesh. It was very painful. The 3 Joss flame black dragons let out a heaven-shaking roars and charged at Wang Lin. Before they even got close, a gust of wind caused Wang Lin's long hair to flow and his white clothes to flutter. Even the space around Wang Lin seemed like it was going to collapse under this wind. Crackling sounds echoed and large amounts of spatial rifts appeared. Master Flame's Park was behind him, and his pupils shrank and all his hair stood up. He could clearly feel an extremely terrifying force inside the wind from the black dragons. This power could collapse space itself. If one sliver landed on him, his body and his origin soul would be destroyed. He felt that even if Master Lu Fu arrived, Master Lu Fu would have to quickly retreat. A bit of carelessness would lead to Master Lu Fu being seriously injured. However, this gust was not what terrified Master Lu Fu. What terrified him was Wang Lin. Wang Lin remained calm as his clothes and hair fluttered in the wind. The wind left no mark on his face. It seemed as if this destructive wind was a mere gentle breeze to him. 3 Joss flame black dragons. As Wang Lin looked at the 3 fierce black dragon, there was a flash of coldness in his eyes. He could only use 20% of his power if he didn't want the rejection force to kick in. If it was a Nirvana Void cultivator, Wang Lin could instantly kill that person. However, 20% wasn't enough to instantly kill a Spirit Void cultivator, not even one at the early stage. However, there were things he had to do today. Save Qing Shui and obtaining the Tao Spirit were things he absolutely had to do. Wang Lin made a decision. I'll ignore the rejection force for now. Even if it shortens the time I can suppress it, I must go all out this once. After making a decision, Wang Lin didn't use any spells. At this moment, when the three black dragons closed in, Wang Lin's eyes emitted a flash of golden light. In a flash, the golden light filled the area. Wang Lin's figure became blurry under this golden light, and a heaven-shaking aura spread out from his body. This aura shook the world as the golden light shrouded the area. Three miserable roars came from the three Joss flame black dragons that were charging at Wang Lin. After being swept by the golden light, their bodies trembled and they didn't dare to approach. They wanted to retreat instead. However, as the golden light spread out, the three Joss flame black dragons retreated only a few dozen feet and didn't dare to continue. They looked at Wang Lin in fear, making their huge bodies seem extremely small. The fear in their eyes seemed to drown them. They recognized this golden light. Deep within their memories, this golden light was something that couldn't be erased. Although they had been caught by esteemed teacher Xianxia when they were young, and had been slowly refined to become his Joss flame souls, the memory of this golden light from their inheritance couldn't be erased. They clearly remembered that a long time ago, anyone who had this golden light stood at the pinnacle of the world. Even their parents had to tremble in fear before this golden light. Even their entire Black Dragon clan would be wiped out if they dared to resist this golden light. But this golden light was even more pure than the one from their memories. This was an extremely authentic celestial spiritual energy. While they were trembling, one of the black dragons couldn't bear it and let out a miserable scream. As its body trembled, black blood ejected out from between its scales. The remaining two black dragons also let out miserable screams and spewed out a lot of blood. Trembling, they coiled up and began worshipping Wang Lin. The tens of thousands of cultivators that were hit by this golden light trembled and felt unimaginable fear and awe. The aura from Wang Lin made them all tremble. They were like mortals just meeting a celestial. An invisible majesty came from this golden light. One of the tens of thousands of cultivators couldn't bear it anymore. He coughed out blood and his knees went soft. It was as if a powerful force was pressing down on him. He had to kneel. If he didn't kneel and worship, his mind would collapse. While coughing out blood, he knelt down. A large amount of outer realm cultivators beside him followed suit. They all coughed out blood and knelt down. Then tens of thousands of cultivators knelt down, and not a single one had the strength to remain standing. It was as if there was an extremely noble bloodline in Wang Lin's body, and all the cultivators in the world had to worship him. As long as one was a cultivator, they couldn't resist this sense of awe that came from their soul. At this moment, they seemed to forget about the inner and outer realms. At this moment, all they could see was Wang Lin, who stood above them like a king. The tens of thousands of cultivators were kneeling, and the black dragons had been defeated. Ask the heavens who controlled life and death. Wang Lin, whose expression was calm, walked toward esteemed teacher Xianxia. Master Flamespark subconsciously licked his dried lips, and his mind was blank as he stared at all of this. He didn't dare to believe what he was seeing. The moment esteemed teacher Xianxia saw this golden light, his eyes flooded with extreme fear, and he let out an uncontrollable scream. He seemed to remember something when he saw this golden light, and his expression changed greatly as he retreated like crazy. The battle between the outer and inner realm, personal honor, the order from the Sovereign Council. He had forgotten it all as he let out a scream and rapidly retreated in terror. This is impossible. This golden light is. Wang Lin's figure was calm, and the aura of a master could be seen by everyone. He stepped forward toward esteemed teacher Xianxia, who was retreating like crazy, and threw a punch. Thunderous rumbles echoed, and a golden storm appeared to form a giant, golden first. It rapidly pierced through the void and appeared before esteemed teacher Xianxiao's body. A thunderous bang rang out and esteemed teacher Xianxiao coughed out blood before his body was torn apart. Large amounts of Joss flames appeared in an attempt to form another body. After the punch, Wang Lin waved his sleeve and golden thunder came out of his right eye. The Alliance headquarters was filled with golden thunder. A bolt of golden thunder descended upon esteemed teacher Xianxiao's origin soul. Thunderous rumbles echoed, and the endless Joss flame souls around esteemed teacher Xianxiao let out miserable screams. They all collapsed and died. Celestial thunder! This is celestial thunder! Esteemed teacher Xianxiao coughed out a mouthful of essence origin energy. His eyes were filled with indescribable fear as he desperately retreated. Celestial! Yuri and Celestial! Esteemed teacher Tian Zhao had almost lost his wits and given up all will to resist. He didn't dare to resist. Back when he captured the 3 dragons, he saw such golden light from a celestial before. At that time, just one gaze from that man caused him to enter a coma for 10 years. Wang Lin felt intense pain in his body, and the rejection force showed signs of erupting. He decided not to pay attention to it and waved his left hand. He pointed at the retreating Tian Zhao, and the golden fire in his left eye flew out. A sea of golden fire swept by and instantly engulfed Tian Zhao. Then the Emperor Furnace appeared and everything vanished. Esteemed teacher Tian Zhao's origin soul was instantly collected. Wang Lin hadn't spoken a single word this entire time. However, when he easily killed esteemed teacher Tian Zhao, he silently made his statement. Ask the heavens who can control life and death. For now, just the first watch today. Leo will rest tonight and start catching up on the missed chapters tomorrow. You are listening to a completely free audiobook on the Leo Audio YouTube channel. If you enjoy the story, please like the video to motivate the channel. Support Leo with a cup of coffee through the description link or on the screen. If you want to hear any other stories, just comment and let Leo know. Thank you very much for watching the video. Chapter 1550, Master Longpan? Wang Lin looked at the giant cultivation planet as the outer realm cultivators knelt there, shaking. He looked calm, but the ancient devil stars in his right eye started flashing. The rejection force broke out, but he continued to suppress it so no one noticed a thing. While he suppressed the rejection force inside his body, Wang Lin looked at the huge cultivation planet. There was a restriction around the planet. This had to be the second gate to the Alliance headquarters after the vortex. This restriction was very intricate. It used the surrounding dozen planets to form a formation that created a loop. It made the planet like a cultivator and allowed it to cultivate. Wang Lin had never seen this before, and after seeing it, his eyes lit up. This planet is very interesting, Master Flamespark. When you were an elder of the Alliance, did you hear anything about this planet? Master Flamespark was awakened from the shock from before. He became even more respectful and quickly said, Junior has heard of some matters. This cultivation planet isn't natural, but was refined by the Alliance by using many cultivation planets. Cultivating on it would take only half the effort. Under Master Longpan's unknown spell, this became the second formation of the Alliance. It was said that this formation is much stronger than the vortex. However, outsiders were rarely allowed to come here, so Junior has never seen the power of the formation. After he finished speaking, Master Flamespark seemed to remember something and said, Master Longpan was the head elder of the Alliance and also Master Zhongshuan's teacher. However, he died long ago. Not necessarily. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he looked at the huge planet. He could feel 4 auras inside. 3 auras were trembling. They were very nervous. The final aura seemed to be sleeping. The tens of thousands of cultivators kneeling around them were trembling, their minds filled with fear. They no longer had control over their fate. It was controlled by the white-robed lord of the sealed realm. The 3 black dragons were also trembling while coiled up. Their eyes were filled awe. Even their roars had turned into whimpers. Wang Lin withdrew his gaze from the giant cultivation planet. While he suppressed the rejection force inside him, he raised his right hand and reached out at the 3 black dragons. The 3 black dragons flew toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin waved his hand, and one of the 3 dragons flew toward him. Wang Lin grabbed hold of the black dragon by the neck. The black dragon was like a snail and coiled its body as it was filled with fear. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he looked at the black dragon. His eyes seemed to be able to penetrate into the black dragon and see the Joss Flame world inside. There were thousands of Joss Flame souls inside, and they were all clearly inner realm cultivators. There were even a few that looked familiar. There was a flash of coldness in his eyes, and he mercilessly squeezed. The black dragon screamed, and Wang Lin's right hand reached inside it. The thousands of inner realm cultivators it had devoured were taken out and allowed to enter the reincarnation cycle. Wang Lin threw the Joss Flame black dragon at Master Flamespark. Do you remember that when you and I met, you said I was your fated person? I give this to you. Joss Flames are poisonous, but for you, perhaps the benefit is greater than the disadvantage. With these Joss Flames, if you have the opportunity, you may become a 3rd-step cultivator. Master Flamespark's body trembled and he revealed monstrous excitement. He grabbed the black dragon sealed by Wang Lin but didn't know what to say. Filled with excitement and a complicated feeling, he bowed at Wang Lin. How could he forget when they first met? When he said they were fated, it was just a joke. He didn't expect that joke to eventually create this karma. The Shenggong family has a child called Shenggong Hu. Is he still alive? Wang Lin then looked at the Outer Realm cultivators. To him, these people were already dead. Master Flamespark's hands trembled as he put away the black dragon. He was an old monster who had cultivated for tens of thousands of years. He suppressed the excitement and respectfully said, Shenggong Hu, Junior remembers, he is still at All Heaven. Wang Lin revealed a hint of reminiscence. His memory of Shenggong Hu reappeared in his mind. Back then, he was weaker than Shenggong Hu, but Shenggong Hu had decided to recognize Wang Lin as his lord. Every time Wang Lin thought about it, he would smile. That Shenggong Hu helped me before. When you go back to All Heaven, take care of him for me. Wang Lin waved his right hand and the second black dragon flew over. After he took out the inner realm cultivator souls and sealed it, he threw at Master Flamespark. Help me deliver this to Shenggong Hu. Tell him this is my gift to him for recognizing me as his lord. Master Flamespark was startled for a moment and felt a hint of envy. He quickly nodded and put the second Joss Flame black dragon away. Wang Lin's golden gaze landed on the third black dragon. There was a flash of coldness in his eyes and he slowly said, You can understand my words. Devour all the cultivators here and destroy this formation for me. I'll give you a chance to live. The black dragon trembled and looked up. Then he turned around and let out a roar before charging at the Outer Realm cultivators. Miserable screams echoed across the stars. Even Master Flamespark's eyes twitched when he heard these screams. Although he was an Inner Realm cultivator, watching the weak and fragile struggle of the Outer Realm cultivators before the black dragon was still shocking. Looking at all of this while feeling satisfied, he felt an even stronger sense of respect for Wang Lin's ruthlessness. These tens of thousands of cultivators were powerless to resist. The black dragon was filled with fear and despair. When it heard Wang Lin would give it a chance to live, it almost went crazy. In less than 15 minutes, almost none of the Outer Realm cultivators remained. All the Outer Realm cultivators were devoured, and their souls had become part of the Joss Flame realm in its body. The flesh and blood of these cultivators integrated with its body, giving the dragon a purplish glow. The sharp thorns around its body grew out a bit more. Even the single horn on its head grew an inch. With a roar, the black dragon also grew longer. Its body that was hundreds of thousands of feet long charged at the cultivation planet. It was so fast that aftermages appeared. It closed in on the planet in an instant and smashed into it, causing a thunderous rumble. Thunderous rumbles echoed. The giant cultivation planet trembled, then the small planets seemed to be controlled by some force to shoot out toward the black dragon. A thunderous rumble echoed, and as the black dragon smashed into the planet, a shockwave spread. The black dragon trembled and was knocked back far away. The giant planet also trembled, and large amounts of cracks appeared on it. Wang Lin calmly stood there. The rejection force inside his body had been slowly suppressed as he stared at the planet. When the cracks on the planet appeared, the fourth aura that had been sleeping suddenly awakened. When it awakened, the giant planet seemed to come to life. The smaller planets around it formed two lines, and a ghostly light linked them together. They were lined on both sides of the giant planet. A white light came from the giant planet. This white light shot into the air, and then the phantom of a white-haired old man appeared. The white-haired old man's phantom body was connected to the planet. It was as if he was the planet. Anyone who offends the Alliance will be destroyed. An ancient voice came from the soul inside the old man. This voice entered Wang Lin's soul and Master Flamespark's body. When Master Flamespark saw the white-haired old man, his eyes widened and he exclaimed, Master Longpan. From far away, the Cultivation Alliance headquarters looked extremely shocking. The huge planet was like a body without legs, and the two lines of planets were like its arms. As for the old man connected to the planet, he was like the head of this body. What kind of cultivation planet was this? It was clearly a person. What great courage! He actually fused his origin soul and soul with the cultivation planet. In a way, he was able to gain immortality. Wang Lin had long noticed that something was wrong with the planet. That's why he had allowed the black dragon attack. And at this moment, he finally understood everything. Master Zhongshuan's teacher, Master Longpan must have reached the end of his life when he thought of this shocking idea. He also was able to perfect this idea and make it come true. No old monster should be underestimated. Anyone who could come up with such a method would be extremely smart. Wang Lin looked at the old man. Although they were enemies, he still felt admiration in his heart. Master Flamespark looked at all of this. He was very intelligent, and after pondering for a moment, he gasped. I only met Master Longpan once. I thought he had already died. I didn't expect this. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he pointed forward. The black dragon that was knocked back began to struggle and let out a roar. It frantically rushed forward with its huge body and roared at the cultivation planet. Its roar continued, and when it closed in, it opened its mouth. Its Joss Flame realm opened up, and a large amount of Joss Flame souls flew toward the cultivation planet. However, just at this instant, a shocking change occurred. A mournful and frantic roar came from the cultivation planet. This roar was filled with madness and an indescribable killing intent. Only those who had slaughtered many in their life could have this killing intent. This killing intent was clearly the slaughter essence. Wang Lin was familiar with this roar. The moment it appeared, Wang Lin's expression changed for the first time. A burst of excitement appeared. Senior brother Qing Shui. Not paying attention, this chapter quickly racks up 5,000 words. Does that qualify as a major chapter? Could it be wishing for the like button for the video? Chapter 1551. Mountain and River Painting. Wang Lin cared a lot about those that helped him. Even if the world decayed due to the passage of time, Qing Shui's kindness would not disappear. Wang Lin always repaid those who helped him. Qing Shui recognized Wang Lin as a cross-generation junior brother due to one spell and had taught Wang Lin the complete spells. He had also acted like a mountain for Wang Lin when Wang Lin was weak. You are my junior brother, I won't let anyone hurt you. That line was enough to keep Wang Lin warm for thousands of years. Back then, Wang Lin had to escape in fear as he didn't have the power to save Qing Shui. He had made a decision that as long as there was a chance, he would go to the Cultivation Alliance and save his senior brother. Bai Fan was a stranger to Wang Lin, and he didn't recognize Bai Fan as his teacher. However, Wang Lin recognized Qing Shui as his senior brother in his heart, his senior brother for life. Qing Shui's life was sad. His life was not happy. His wife had died by his hand, and all his relatives were killed by him during his madness. Eventually, Bai Fan sealed him. The teacher he respected died, but he was left alive due to the seal. However, this made Qing Shui feel even more pain. As his memories slowly reawakened, he went completely mad. Mad from sorrow. He faced devastation in his early years. He was the prince of the country of clear water. He was pursued by killers, and facing the sadness and despair, he awakened his G realm. Then he returned to the country of clear water with monstrous hatred and killing intent. That night, rivers of blood flowed in the country of clear water. Many cultivators died. He got his revenge, but the joy in his life disappeared. In his life, all he did was kill. His killing intent was shocking, and as he killed, he entered the Thunder Celestial Realm. In the Thunder Celestial Realm, after spending his entire life in grief and slaughter, he met his teacher. He also met the woman that warmed his cold and closed-off heart. For this woman, he gave up slaughter and gave up everything. He eventually became Celestial Lord Qing Shui of the Thunder Celestial Realm. He thought he had found the joy that had left him for many years, and during those days, he was indeed very happy. However, all of this evaporated during his madness. It was like the moon reflected in the water, much too fragile. He personally killed his wife, and her blood filled with affection flowed to her face. That blood caused his soul to tremble and awaken him from the madness. The moment he awakened, he saw his wife struggling to touch his face with her hand. As her hand lost all strength and fell, Qing Shui let out the most desperate roar in his life. From then on, there was no such thing as happiness in his life. The roar that came from the cultivation planet caused Wang Lin to tremble. The composure in his eyes collapsed. He couldn't remain calm anymore. Excitement appeared in his eyes. Qing Shui was not dead. Although his roar was filled with madness and slaughter, Wang Lin began to laugh. His laughter was filled with joy as he knew Qing Shui was not dead. As long as Qing Shui was not dead, then Wang Lin was confident he could make senior brother Qing Shui regain his sanity. The Jaws flame black dragon was hit by the roar from Qing Shui as it charged toward the planet, making its body tremble. It felt the killing intent from the roar and the dense slaughter essence. Wang Lin took a step forward as he laughed. He grabbed the black dragon and threw it behind him. I'll let you go, but if you kill even a single person in the inner realm, I'll destroy you. The black dragon's body trembled, and then it revealed unimaginable joy. It nodded at Wang Lin before disappearing without a trace. Wang Lin's figure gave off a monstrous golden light, and with a step, he closed in on the planet. At this moment, the many smaller planets that formed the right arm smashed toward Wang Lin. After learning that Qing Shui was still alive, Wang Lin ran out of patience. He no longer suppressed the rejection force in his body. When the arm arrived, the golden light in his body disappeared and 7 golden stars appeared between his eyebrows. Wang Lin's right hand formed a fist, and he punched at the incoming arm. Thunderous rumbles echoed. Then the large right arm of the cultivation planet collapsed and countless fragments were knocked in all directions. Wang Lin paused for a moment and quickly recovered. At this moment, the cultivation planet's left arm closed in and smashed toward him. Scram! A flash of golden light radiated from Wang Lin's eyes as he looked over. A bolt of golden thunder shot out, and it was covered in golden fire. It collided with the left arm on the cultivation planet. There was a thunderous bang and large amounts of cracks appeared in the planet's left arm. Golden fire rushed into the cracks, and as the heat spread, the arm collapsed. It was as if there was no force that could stop Wang Lin and his determination to save Qing Shui. With his third step, Wang Lin arrived above the giant planet. Just at this moment, the old man's eyes shined, and he raised his hands. His hands formed a seal, then he closed them before jerking them open. The moment the seal appeared, the entire planet trembled and the earth moved.